Odyssey Sports Station.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Game Day Uncensored Post-Game Edition.
We keep rolling. Don't be stressed. Y'all know what's online.
Recapping the Finns game. Real reaction, real opinions, real talk for real fans.
That sounds amazing.
On AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Game Day Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing. By Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Make sure your next Cadillac is backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. And by Williamson Automotive. Williamson is Miami.
It is not where you start, it's where you finish. Yes, the Miami Dolphins today started literally with Tyreek Hill in handcuffs, face down on the pavement, and right now they are going to try to finish this game. They are driving down the field with 20 seconds left, hopefully a touchdown, maybe a field goal. They are on the 35-yard line, and it's looking like they're going to line up a Jason Sanders field goal. First half, I'll be honest with you, not where you start, it's where you finish. Not a great Dolphins first half, but I will say the second half, they did start to get things rolling. Jaguars tightened up a little bit, and now we're going to have a last-second field goal by Jason Sanders with an attempt to win the game. It is tied 17-17. I am Dan Day, by the way, joined by Trevor Harris. Trevor, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
This looked like a preseason game. Jesus, I have never seen so much sloppy play from, it doesn't matter if you're a starting quarterback or a defensive lineman. It was the sloppiest of all time to start this game off anyways.
Okay, it was a sloppy game, but it is the new preseason. The season is lengthened, and you have very limited time in the preseason. Jason Sanders is now lining up that 52-yard field goal. He is on the left hash, and of course, they're going to ice the kicker, and we are going to see with 4 seconds left. So this will determine whether the Dolphins get that first win at home or
overtime.
I
don't want overtime for this anyways. I am the guy who wants content. I think overtime will be great for our first ever Game Day Uncensored post-game edition.
We appreciate you joining us. We're going to be here for the next 3 hours till 7 o'clock or until this game ends. Of course, remember, it's not overtime until someone wins. You can have a tie still in the NFL.
Yes.
So we won't be here all night.
We are not doing that.
Hopefully we can say good afternoon right in the next, let's say, 30 seconds when they finally do kick this ball. Looked like the first half, the Dolphins were very sluggish. Tua, for the most part in this game, has looked a little off. But right now, we just want to make sure this field goal is right on target. Jason Sanders, 52 yards. They are snapping the ball. It is up, and it is good. Dolphins win. Dolphins win. Dolphins win 20-17. Once again, proving it is not where you start, it's where you finish. What a day we've had so far, not just in football, but right here in Miami. Like I said, day starts off, Tua Tagovailoa is detained by police officers. Tyreek Hill, I'm sorry, detained by police officers. Apparently there was some driving incident, and we don't know exactly what happened. Apparently some of the other players, his manager, Drew Rosenhaus, on the scene. Tyreek Hill put in handcuffs, put face down on the ground, eventually let go. He did play. He actually had a productive day. A lot of it came on that long bomb from Tua Tagovailoa. It's around an 80-yard bomb for a touchdown that really kind of swung the game. But in the first half, not a great showing by the Miami Dolphins. Tua looked off a little bit. He overthrew Tyreek Hill a couple of times. Jason Sanders missed a terrible field goal later in the game. And I was going to say at halftime, I was like, man, Jaylen Phillips, I can't believe he's back.
Yeah.
But he's not really a factor. Well, good thing I didn't write that down, because in the second half, he was a factor. He was all over the place.
Yeah, he was all over the place. It shows like it takes forever. Like when you have a big injury, you just got to play, especially with Achilles. It's just you can't take it slowly, because you have to, I was told by people, you just have to go for it anyways.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things. he was kind of trying to feel himself out. You know, you're a little hesitant probably. You got the bad Achilles or you have the healing Achilles and you're really, really worried maybe that you can not figure things out. But the Dolphins got it going. Get this. They shut out the Jacksonville Jaguars in the second half.
I've seen this with Doug Peterson type games anyways.
Doug Peterson, we'll get to how terrible of a coaching job he did today.
It's not the worst coaching job I've ever seen. There's a few other worse ones I like to say in the game right now, but it's up there as if you do top 5 bums of the week.
Some of the things he did today, it baffles your mind of what he was doing. But once again, beginning of the game, up to halftime, really not that great. But the second half really looked like on both sides of the ball, the Dolphins got a lot more physical and they moved the ball and they stopped the ball. And the running game was not absolutely great, but
I think the problem with the running game is they went to a lot of their bread and butter plays early, like they did last year with like the screen pass, everything. The Jaguars did a great job taking it away.
Yeah, and that's the question that I was wanting to know about the Dolphins. Was it so much that you didn't have these big, explosive, exciting plays like you saw so much last year? Was that maybe the Jaguars kind of taking that away and saying, you're going to have to dink and dunk us, you're going to have to kill us softly? Or was the team just a little bit off? You know, Tyreek Hill had his issue earlier in the day where he was detained. Tua looked a little off. Was that all part of the scheme? Was that all part of the problem? It's kind of thinking a little bit of both. I think it's the guys are getting some familiarity with each other, while at the same time, also there was, what Jacksonville was kind of trying to do. Like, you can beat us. You just can't beat us deep. And that's what the Dolphins did. They took what they could get. They did it, and they got the win today, 2017. Jason Sanders redeems himself after terribly missing a field goal.
That was the biggest shank I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know what happened on that one, but no, nonetheless, they did what they had to do, and they got the win. That's all you can really ask, unless you're a gambler. I think they're favored by 3.5, so you kind of take the L on that one.
It was a push anyways.
All right, so let's get into some of the things that happened today. Tua Tagovailoa, 23 for 37, 336 yards, and that long bomb to Tyreek Hill. Those stats, he didn't play to those stats, I didn't think. The long bomb really helped him out. He looked a little off all day. I'll be honest with you. We call it Game Day Uncensored. We're going to be honest with you. I thought Tua was a little off. What do you think? 305, 567, 560. Trevor?
I agree too. As someone who watches, I always like to find something to nick at in this post-game show for all of us so we can have content to talk about. I didn't think he was impressive today. He just felt like he was going through the motion. He was trying to go with the plays he went well with. I think Mike McDaniel was like, let me just try to do what plays I did last year. And I just think he didn't take the first half seriously. I did really think that the offense looked a lot more vanilla than it did last year. Of course, this is one game, and Jacksonville's probably trying to take away a lot of that. But also, we have all of last year. We have a larger sample size to say, maybe, it's the first game. They're trying to figure things out. But I will admit, Tua looked just a little bit off. Maybe a Chad too slow or a Chad too over. He overthrew Tyreek Hill at least 2 times, one glaringly early in the game. When he was wide open, by the way. And they were like, how do you even overthrow Tyreek Hill? But Tua did it. I was like, if the announcers are saying it, then you definitely know. But Trevor Lawrence looked like he was having the better game at halftime, but Tua Tagovailoa ended up having the better game. It was a tale of two halves. Like I said, Tua Tagovailoa, 23 for 37, 336 yards and a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence, 12 for 21 with 162 yards and a touchdown. He got rattled when that Travis Etienne fumble that Javon Holland calls that fumble. I thought Trevor Lawrence looked very lost, especially with that. Especially also, I almost had a special teams blunder as well after Tyreek Hill scored. So that was the other thing I noticed too. Like Trevor Lawrence could get rattled very easily as a guy who played in Death Valley at Clemson.
Yeah, he was non-existent almost in the second half. It seemed like, especially after Javon Holland makes the big punch-out fumble. They were about to score too. That was the major.
That was a turning point.
If there was a play of the game, you like. Okay, I've seen the Tyreek Hill pass bomb from Tua Tagovailoa, 80-yard touchdown pass. That was a big one, but still, the play of the game that changed everything was Javon Holland. When the Jaguars were about to go in for a touchdown, he was basically last defense, and he punches the ball out. It goes towards the back of the end zone. We were covered in the back of the end zone. That totally changed everything, because then we came right back down through the 80-yard bomb. We scored a touchdown. That is a 14-point swing, and ladies and gentlemen, in the NFL, 14-point swings can almost sound like a death tone.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is what I was talking about, the running game. It was, at first I thought it was really doing okay. I think I was misconceiving the screen passes for more of runs than actual passes, because I kept seeing the stats and I was like, what is going on here? Jeff Wilson Jr. didn't even come into the second half. 5 carries, 26 yards, led the team in rushing. Now, to give you another tale of the two halves, at halftime, Tua Tagovailoa had 131 yards. Trevor Lawrence had 125 yards. Trevor Lawrence had all day in that first half.
Yeah.
He could smoke a cigarette back there. But they got going in the second half, except for that Calais Campbell sack on the very first defensive play of the game. Tua did not look sharp at all. Tyreek, I will say Tyreek looked a little off. I think, and hey, take it from someone who's been in a situation like that. It is extremely jarring.
Yes.
And to say, I'll just shake it off. And a lot of people are like, oh, bet the over on Tyreek today. I said, whoa. I tell you, and we've all, well, maybe not all of us, a majority of us, almost all of us have gotten a ticket or stopped by a police officer.
Yeah.
That'll mess up your day.
It really does, actually. It can really rattle you. And you just think about like that, especially. I feel like Tyreek was probably, once he got out, like, I want to focus on football, but I have that in the back of my mind.
Right. But much less being stopped by the police, but being handcuffed and put to the ground by police. The whole incident, extremely jarring. I don't see how he could focus today. I thought he did look a little off. Maybe it was just he and Tua weren't on the same page. But nonetheless, Tyreek showed up and balled out. You got to give him credit where credit's due. The numbers don't lie. 7 receptions, 130 yards, 1 touchdown, and definitely 1 overthrow, which would have netted him another 30, 40 yards from Tua Tagovailoa. So Tyreek Hill goes, plays. What'll be is what'll be in that situation. A lot of other things. Not a very impressive opening drive from the Miami Dolphins. They went for it twice on 4th down. Kind of questionable. Did not get it, but nothing more questionable than when your guy, Doug Peterson, decided to go for it on 4th down on his own, like 30-yard line.
He's done that before. As someone who
it was at the end of the third.
Into the fourth quarter. He said, as someone who grew up watching Sean Payton all the time, who's done a lot more questionable fourth down calls, anyways. That is a page out of Sean Payton and Doug Peterson, anyways. So
it was going to, and they went out for 4th and 1 or something like that, and it was getting to the end of the third. And they kept the offense out there. And I said, well, they're not going to go for it. They're just trying to maybe get somebody outside. They're going to go. And you're like, no, they're going to go. They're going to go. Whoo, thank you. But it ended up not costing them anything because that's the one where Jason Sanders shanked the kick at the beginning of the 4th quarter. And it was like, wow. So that stupid 4th down didn't cost them. But some of the other stupid plays that he did. And like I said, we did really come on strong in the second half. But we had an unimpressive opening drive. Just some of the quick game notes that we took throughout the game. Very unimpressive opening drive. Actually, I'll be honest, a pretty unimpressive first half for the Miami
first half
Dolphins.
Put me to sleep anyways. I was almost fell asleep on my couch. Before I came down here. I was like, all right, I'm going to leave because this first half stinks anyways. They blow. So.
Not a ton of offense, not a ton of defense. You did get that one Devon Achane run. If in today's any indication, now it looked like Raheem Mostert was a little nicked up, but it looks like if today's any indication, Devon Achane is going to be your featured back this year for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree with that. You can put him too. I think you can put Achane and I'll say Jeff Wilson. I would like to see Jalen Knight because I know he's a rookie. Rookie running backs don't start immediately unless you're Zeke Elliott or.
Well, he wasn't even active today.
I know, or no rookie running back starts unless you need to, anyways. I would like to see what they're going to do more of Achane, especially, even though sometimes I feel like he's only good in certain things. I like to see more from him, but I always feel like Jeff Wilson is that great second back. If Mostert can't do anything, you have Jeff Wilson, who knows the Mike McDaniel offense when he's with the 49ers.
And for those people saying Calais Campbell, he's the old man on the team. He's not, he'll give you like 20 snaps. He played a lot today.
Yeah.
And he actually played pretty good. I thought he played well, especially at the beginning of the game. He got things going for the team, and he was a force to be reckoned with. And like I said, at first, I was like, the only person doing anything is Calais Campbell. Then the second half came and Javon Holland and Jaylen Phillips took over. And kudos to Jaylen Phillips, a guy I didn't think I'd see till around December 1st.
Really?
I mean, you tear your Achilles on Black Friday, it's usually a year or so. He was not only back in that second half, he was all over the place. And for those people who say Javon Holland doesn't make plays and Javon Holland doesn't deserve a contract, he proved today. Hey.
I will poke a hole in him. Don't worry.
Javon's playing for that contract. And if he plays like he did today, he is going to get a big contract, whether it be from the Dolphins or someone else, because that punch out as Etienne was going into the end zone, that changed the game totally. Some other things, Tua not particularly sharp early, no big plays except for that one to Tyreek Hill,
the second half,
80 yards. But early on, nothing. Lots of screens, lots of checkdowns. Once again, how much of that was what the Jaguars were giving them? and how much of that was part of the game plan. I don't know, but it seemed like they were dedicated to the run at some points, but also not much sledding there.
No, I thought the offense, I feel like Jacksonville, this is like the thing about week 1. These coaches have a lot of time to prepare for, so they were like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of the big time play. Well, they got one big time play, the Dolphins did, but like the Jaguars did pretty well holding in to that one big play. And I always say, like, Doug Peters could probably figure out how to like stop a Mike Shanahan offense anyway. So
Tua looked a little more mobile today. I wouldn't say he was Lamar Jackson mobile, but he looked a little more mobile. He looked a little more willing to run. I know he had that one run right at the middle for about 10, 11 yards, got down real quick, didn't take any serious hits, but a little something here and there. Tyreek Hill returned a punt at one point. I don't know what that was.
me neither.
Was it them trying to get Tyreek Hill off and get him going? Is it that Braxton Berrios? And once again, Game Day Uncensored. Braxton Berrios, not a dynamic kick returner.
No.
I'm sorry he went to the U, and I sat in the press box last year next to, I must have been his family members. They'd always be like, watch, Braxton's going to return one. And I finally turned to the guy, and I was like, I'll bet you he doesn't return one all year long. He's like, oh, no, he's due for one. Nah, it was one kick, too. So I don't know the
I'm
exact.
not impressed by Braxton Berrios. I thought he should have been cut anyways, but I understand why some people.
Well, now you need him. You're very thin.
Now you need him because he's owed up OBJs. I'm going to say he's probably 401k right now anyways, as a Joe special.
Of course, fourth down conversions were an issue. We had 2 that we failed on in the first half. Kind of questionable, kind of wondering what was going on. Nonetheless, they had some other things. Brian Thomas Jr., rookie out of LSU that plays for Jacksonville, caught a great pass. This is when I thought we might have been in trouble. Trevor Lawrence threw a dart.
Yes.
A perfect pass. Brian Thomas Jr. caught it in the back of the end zone. Nothing you can really do. I know Jalen Ramsey kind of bit a little bit, but still just a perfect pass.
That was a
perfect
great catch by him. I thought they were going to call that back or review it because I didn't know if he had his feet down immediately, and they showed it slow. I was like, okay, 2 feet down, we're good to go.
Yeah, it was a great catch. Great pass. What can you do? Nothing. Jalen Ramsey, a little bit hurt, supposedly on a play count. He played a lot. They went after him a lot, too. I'm not going to lie. Once again, first half, not the greatest Jalen Ramsey. Second half, pretty good Jalen Ramsey.
I can always say, especially with these games down here in Miami and South Florida, the first half you could go as long as you want. It's always that second half the heat will get to you.
And that's another thing. Yeah, the heat does start to get you. They got the shade on one side. They got the sun right in your face.
But there's some teams that just do the temporary shade things.
Yeah, you're still out in the sun. You're still doing that. Of course, they are Jacksonville, so they're not that far away from the weather that we have here.
What I was told by people, I was listening to some people up on 1010 XL. They were talking to me. They were saying, like, yeah, they've had the same type of weather down up there as we're down here anyways. So
yeah, but nonetheless, got the home field advantage, and they took advantage. Nonetheless, I know that Tua led the team in passing. Of course, he was the only quarterback we had. We know that Jeff Wilson Jr. led the team in rushing, and we also know that Tyreek Hill led the team in receiving. I still thought the offensive MVPs were Devon Achane and Jaylen Waddle. They just seemed like they had their game plan together, and they seemed to be as effective as they could be. And whenever we needed something, Waddle, a big play, or somebody consistent, we went to him. Devon Achane, it just seemed like we used him a lot today. We used Devon Achane a lot.
I think they went with Achane a lot because Mostert couldn't get anything moving at all.
I think Mostert might have been a little nicked up. There's a couple times he looked a little nicked up on the sideline. Don't know that for sure.
I don't think he was 100%. I feel like the Dolphins, they need to pick a running back. I feel like this Bills game coming up with a short week. If Mostert's like good to go, like, do a snap count on him, maybe? Like, so let's get him ready for Seattle, probably.
I'll be honest. I think you're going to get a lot of what you got today. You're going to get running back by committee. You're going to get different packages whenever the situation calls for Devon Achane. You might have that. Raheem Mostert, I'm guessing he's not 100% healthy. Some Jeff Wilson Jr. Don't know how Jalen Wright is going to work in there. He was inactive today. That was a little disappointing, but yeah. Nonetheless, Javon Holland got it going. I know he broke up a pass at one point on a third down. That was a very nice play. But then, of course, the punching out of the ball.
Need a punch, baby. Charles Tillman's proud about that at least.
2 minutes, 20 seconds left in the third. Travis Etienne Jr. basically going into the end zone. Last line of defense. Javon Holland punches the ball out. He's done that in the past. We saw him do that last year. And the ball goes to the back of the end zone. We recover. And then to a bomb to Tyreek Hill, and all of a sudden you feel as though the Dolphins are rolling, and they were rolling. Jaylen Phillips got it going in the second half. Like, I remember saying, like, he's not going to be effective. And I guess he was just kind of feeling it out. He was a little tentative at first on his repaired Achilles, but Seems like he got that confidence. And when he got that confidence, he was all over the backfield of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Of course, that stupid fourth down that they went for at the very beginning of the fourth quarter, that's the Jacksonville Jaguars, Doug Peterson. I said it way before. I said, there's no way in hell you should go for this. They were on their own 35-yard line. I said, they're gifting us at least a tie game because it was 17-14 at the time. And I told Trevor, you're gifting us at least a field goal.
I was also like, he will do this. He will go by the analytics and you'll go for fourth down, go on fourth down. Like I said, it could be very, very good or very, very bad.
So Travis Etienne gets the ball and he is stymied. He tries to reverse field and it just wasn't happening.
They should. I always say when you do a fourth down play, do something out of the eye. I hate this shotgun. You know what? Anyways, like that. I just hate that type of play. I just wish he went under center or just do a fullback dive. You're good to go.
Terrible call. Even if you convert, still a terrible call. Nonetheless, it didn't hurt him because Jason Sanders decided to shank the heck out of a kick, but no problem.
He got his first big shank out of the way. Let's say that.
You get the ball back with a little over 2 minutes left. You start driving down the field, still kind of incorporating the run. That's when Jeff Wilson Jr. kind of starts asserting himself. And kudos to the fullback. You don't always give love, even though he was a Pro Bowler. Alec Ingold got a big third down conversion run when they needed it, and it pretty much put him in field goal position at the end of the game to get Jason Sanders in there. And I'll be honest with you, even though he shanked the hell out of that previous kick, I had confidence that Jason Sanders was going to make that final field goal.
I was looking at 52 yards. That's a makeable kick anyways. That's what was my thing.
And he's made him in the big situations like Dallas last year, so you got to trust in him there. And that's all you want, a chance at the end to win at home, and that's exactly what they did. So the day starts, Tyreek Hill being detained for a traffic incident. We don't know the whole situation. We do know he was released, and he played, and his numbers were good. He looked a little off today. Tua looked a little off today. Nonetheless, you get a win. That's all you can ask for, especially week one, where week one is almost like a preseason game sometimes because no one plays. Everybody kind of looked a little off today.
I was watching the league a little bit. Everybody,
except for the New Orleans Saints. They looked like they were in midseason form.
The Saints are in midseason form because
they were playing Sisters of the Poor. Is that the reason why?
You could say that. I heard Shannon Sharp was on the call right now. He was doing he wanted the National Guard to be called anyway.
Call him up, man. Call him up. So nonetheless, a big win today, 20-17. I was talking about the New Orleans Saints. They skull drug the Carolina Panthers. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back in the next segment. We're going to go over some stats and scores from the Dolphins, from the Jaguars, and from around the league. I am Dan Day with Trevor Harris. This is Game Day Uncensored on 560 WQAM.
Downloaded the free Odyssey app and made WQAM your favorite station? Do it. Listen to us live or on demand and use the rewind feature to go back and listen to any part of any shows you might have missed.
Time for more Game Day Uncensored, post-game edition on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Before we get into our stats and scores, Tyreek Hill, once again, he was involved in a traffic incident. The police did put him in handcuffs earlier today. He is allegedly going to be speaking at the podium soon.
Oh,
if I were his lawyer, agent, or friend, I would
Rosen.
say, no, Tyreek. No.
Better run down to that locker room quickly, please.
I would have a whole lot of no comment, but supposedly that is the word that the cheetah will be speaking at the podium. We might have to play that later too.
Oh, we like to call this his first year, the Tyreek Hill show during local Postgame. We may have to bring that back for a segment, by the way.
Well, we got Tyreek Hill possibly speaking at the podium. Even if he doesn't say anything, I want to hear what he has to say.
That's what I want. It's the thing you want to hear. What happened, and we want to know details.
And of course, we'll have Mike McDaniel on as soon as we can. Tua will also speak. We will hear from him. Those are the three guys I really, really want to hear from. My cousin Vladimir Luson is in the locker room right now. He's going to get some interviews. Never know what he's going to ask. So as soon as we get audio from him, we're going to get going.
Is Tyreek going to podium or is he going to?
They said podium.
Oh my!
That is the word from Dolphins camp. Now, I do want to say this right as we do get into stats. Tua did have statistically a very good day, and Tyreek Hill also statistically had a pretty good day. I actually missed the 80-yard bomb because I had a social media issue that I had to take care of for this very show. If you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch 560 WQAM, you see us now because I had to work on some things. But not seeing that 80-yard bomb, if you'd have asked me how many yards did Tua have, I'd have said, I don't know, like 240, maybe that much. He had 327, and I know that got a little inflated. It did get inflated because of that 80-yard bomb. Tyreek Hill finished with 130 yards. If you'd asked me how many yards he had, I'd have probably said maybe 80, but no, 130. Once again, if you didn't see the 80-yard bomb, like myself, you're like, whoa, those numbers are really good. The bomb really did help. 80 yards in one play, that helps usually your stat line. So let's now get to the stats. What would you say, Trevor? Tyreek, if you would have been like me, how many yards do you think Tyreek would have had just from the naked eye today?
120.
Oh, you would think he had 120 without the 80-yard bomb?
That's my maybe under 100 at least, maybe.
How many yards would you think that Tua had without seeing that 80-yard bomb?
Without seeing that 80-yard bomb like I did live in person, I'll say 200, maybe 2 something,
Yeah, I thought he was somewhere around 240, something like that.
Low twos, I was saying, nothing crazy.
Yeah, okay.
I was looking at this game was very much dinking and dunking the Andy Reid special of Donovan McNabb throwing to his running back.
That's why I thought Jaylen Waddle was so impressive today, because he actually did seem like he got some good catches, some good yards. It kind of seemed like he seemed like old reliable. He seemed like he was in more midseason form than most of the guys, but we'll get to his numbers in just a second. We'll start with number one. Tua Tagovailoa, 22 completions over 36 passes, 327 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. You got to like that. Rushing, it was a tough day of sledding for the running backs and the rushers on this team. Devon Achane did lead all rushers, 10 carries, 25 yards, and a touchdown. He did have that touchdown earlier in the game. That's a 2.5 yard per carry average. That's not going to get it done in the NFL. Jeff Wilson Jr., though, comes in, has 3 carries, 23 yards. That's pretty good. Tua had that 1 rush right up the middle. It was wide open, 11 yards, 1 rush, good. Raheem Mostert, 6 carries, 9 yards. Something wasn't right with Raheem Mostert. They did not use him. They did not utilize him very often. He was not very productive. So hopefully whatever is wrong with them, or whatever injury he may be or problem he may be dealing with, it gets better. Jaylen Waddle had 1 carry for 3 yards. And like I said, the fullback, Alec Ingold, when you need him, you got him.
Yeah. Shout out to the fullbacks. It's a dying position in football these days.
1 carry, 6 yards. They only needed 2 to get that 3rd down conversion to put him in field goal position at the end of the game. And Alec Ingold, he did not Leroy hoard it. He did not say, You need 3 yards, I'll get you 3 yards. Oh, no, you need 2 yards, I'll get you 3 yards. You need 5 yards, I get you 3 yards. He went out there and gave you 6.
He did his job. He did more than I expected.
Big run and great leader on this team. Tyreek Hill, 7 receptions, 130 yards, and that touchdown bomb for 80 yards. Jaylen Waddle, who I thought was the best receiver out there today, 5 receptions, 108 yards, 21.6 per catch average, 21 yards, basically 21 and a half yards per catch average. That looks more like the Dolphins and the Jaylen Waddle we're used to seeing.
Yeah, before he got killed. I thought he was going to Concussion City, by the way.
He took an early hit. The ball got tipped, actually.
Yeah.
So he was cutting around over the middle. The ball gets tipped. He still stayed focused on the ball. Unfortunately, it gave the defenders a little more time to focus on him. He got rocked.
Yeah, I haven't seen that type of hit on someone in a while.
His helmet almost came off. And then he could tell I'm guessing, once again, theorizing, you could tell he was a little woozy, so he tried to play it off by like clapping and like, then no. The spotter, they said, "Whoop, come on."
Spotter was like, "Get over here now. We don't need another incident."
And he kept acting out too on the sideline, like, "Oh no, I'm good. They're like, "Nope, go."
I call it the Deshaun Jackson because he got knocked for concussions a few times. That's what he would do sometimes.
But he was back in the game, so it wasn't anything serious. Devon Achane, 6 passes. I told you they threw it to him a lot. 66 yards. He had a couple of ones where he was very elusive. I was impressed on some of the screen passes that were basically behind the line of scrimmage where Devon Achane was able to make some people miss and do some good running. That's why I kept thinking the running game was better than it actually was, because Achane was getting yards behind the line of scrimmage catching passes, but it was a pass and not a run. Raheem Mostert, 2 catches for 10 yards. Jonnu Smith, who we thought was going to be our tight end savior, 1 reception for 7 yards.
The Dolphins haven't had a good tight end since Joe Rose.
I really thought Jonnu Smith was our guy.
I thought you guys. I was looking at it, I was like, it's also preseason. I was like, okay, he got a shovel pass. He's not that typical possession wideout tight end, which I feel like the Dolphins have needed for a while. I know it's only 1 game. I need to see more, but I have my expectations were not terribly high, but I was like, I want something more than Durham Smythe, if you know what I mean.
And early in the game, the first defensive play of the game, Calais Campbell showed some great pass rushing, gets a sack. You're like, man, he's already got a sack on the season. Yeah, he finished with 1 sack, but some other guys got to him. Emmanuel Ogbah, welcome back, got a sack. And like I said, Jaylen Phillips, who I thought wouldn't be back until at least mid-season. He has defied all odds. He did not play extremely effective in the first half. Trevor and I are theorizing that he was just, a little weary. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Come back from Achilles, he started getting his swag. He started getting his confidence. He finished with a sack, and he was all over the place in the second half. Storm Duck had to do some playing today because Jalen Ramsey was not 100%. You could tell him he was kind of on a snap count. Storm Duck made some plays, made a couple of tackles here and there, and he defended decently enough.
He was all right.
Zach Sealer came in a couple of times, got some tackles. Overall, pretty good. I was happy with him.
I wasn't really impressed with Sealer. He wasn't good jumping off the page for me. That was me.
He is the leader of the defense, and once again, it is early in the season. He and Jalen Ramsey at one point almost converged on the quarterback. I think that's the one Jalen Ramsey finally got to him. So he was there. He was anchoring some defense.
The defense to me was like, I needed someone to jump off the page. It was like, okay, Phillips is playing. It's like, okay, cool. He showed up in the second half. I always looked like who could be a consistent player, no matter if it's first half, second half. I just didn't see that out of a lot of players.
Well, it's the first game of the season.
I know it's also the first game of the season. I'm just being a hot take artist, but I need some more.
Let's not get too crazy. It's the first game of the season. A lot of these guys didn't play. Some of these guys got not arrested. Some of these guys got detained this morning. Some of these guys, they didn't do a lot of practicing even. Maybe they're not 100% healthy. We'll have to wait and see. The punt game, I don't think the Dolphins even know what's going on. Braxton Berrios, for all those that say, give Braxton Berrios a break. He's a great kick returner. 2 returns for 2 yards. Now, I understand there's fair catches and everything, but he's not going to break one, bro. I'm sorry. Tyreek Hill had that 1 punt return. Once again, I'm not exactly sure why, for 11 yards. Jason Sanders, 1 for 2 today. But guess what?
He made the one that counted.
He made the one that counted.
Well, I like to complain that he needs to go back to the kicking place and just start kicking from wherever that was. He did that nasty shank at anyways. Go back to the practice field.
Now, both teams' punters did look like they were in midseason form. Jake Bailey, he had 4 punts, 198 yards, basically 50-yard average, and 3 inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, he had a good punt. It was like it dropped at inside the 20. It was like, that's
okay,
perfect.
That's enough of a breakdown of the punters.
Hey, we need Pat McAfee would be proud of us right now. We're doing punting breakdown, Brian Monroe too.
Big time play. Oh, that's true. I mean, we do know a lot of punters.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, I'll tell you, Trevor Lawrence looked like he was worth every penny they paid him in the offseason. In the first half, like I said, he threw that absolute dime to Brian Thomas Jr. in the back of the end zone. Nothing you could really do about it. Looked like Trevor Lawrence had it going. He had all day in the first half. He was smoking cigarettes back there in the backfield. We had no pass rush outside that one Calais Campbell sack, the first defensive play of the game.
That's my problem. It's, when I was watching, like, how is the Dolphins pass rush, which we were hyping up this whole off season, going to go after Trevor Lawrence on offensive line? That offensive line Jacksonville has, it's not terrible because they got a good right guard and right tackle as well. I was looking at, like, they should be going after the left side more, but I was surprised they didn't.
They did have a pretty solid running game going, but just put this in perspective, how good of a second half it was for the Dolphins defense, at least when it comes to defending the pass and the pass rush. Trevor Lawrence had 125 yards and 1 touchdown at halftime. He finished with 162 yards and 1 touchdown.
It sounds like a Carson Wentz special I've seen with bad quarterback in play.
So you do the math. He didn't even have 40 yards of passing in the second half.
He gets rattled very quickly.
He did seem to get very rattled even when it was ATN's fumble when they were about to score and just never really recovered. He's 12 for 21. He had an absolute terrible second half. Let's just be honest. The running game was good for the Jaguars. That Cartavius Bigsby, he looks like he's a madman when he runs. 12 rushes, 73 yards. Travis Etienne Jr., huge fumble. He got 1 touchdown. He was 12 for 44. He really, I don't know if it was so much of him or if it was more of Javon Holland.
That fumble rattled him. I was looking at it, I was like,
I think it was more just a great play by Javon Holland.
It was both. In fact, it helped out the Dolphins, and it killed the confidence in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's be honest here.
Oh, it totally shifted the momentum. And once again, great job going for the jugular. On the next series, you go 80 yards, Tyreek Hill, boom. Everything changes from there. Trevor Lawrence had 1 rush for 8 yards. Devon Duvernay had 1 rush for 3 yards. Receiving, Gabe Davis, 3 for 62. Brian Thomas Jr., 4 receptions, 47 yards, and that 1 great touchdown in the back. Other than that, there really wasn't that much to talk about. Christian Kirk, 1 for 30.
Charles Etienne Jr.
Christian
Kirk had a huge drop.
He had a huge drop.
He's been known to have huge drops, no matter if it's Jacksonville or Arizona.
And that was a big part of the game towards the end. It was a 3rd down, too, and he just absolutely dropped it. Evan Ingram. What happened to him?
He does that.
He was last year Trevor Lawrence's safety blanket, 1 reception, 5 yards.
I've seen this with Evan Ingram. He loves to disappear in games. Do not worry. He has those games that he breaks out, but he will have those games. He disappears like a milk carton. Parker Washington 1 for 3. Tua did have some pressure throughout the day, a couple of sacks for those guys. Trayvon Walker got 2 sacks on Tua. He had a big sack on Tua, I like to say. It was like in the second. As mobile as Tua is said to be this year, he got run down a couple of times in the backfield. Eric Armstead got also a sack on Tua Tagovailoa. Hit the treadmill, Tua. Hit the treadmill. 3 total sacks all in all. And once again, the punting was fantastic. Logan Cook, 6 punts, 311 yards, basically a 52-yard average on his punts. So Pat McAfee very happy about what's going on. And Brian Monroe, too. We got to shout out Brian Monroe, too. My score is updating right now. The Dolphins just won 20-17. Well, we let you know that happened already. So that's the Dolphins and the Jaguars stats and facts. We're going to get to some scores and what happened around the rest of the league past couple of days and earlier today. It is week 1 of the NFL, and you are listening to Game Day Uncensored on 560 WQAM.
way to listen to WQAM, the free Odyssey app. Download it today and make us your favorite station. Same great shows, same great games. Plus, you can use the rewind feature and listen to anything you missed. Hurry!
Time for more Game Day Uncensored, post-game edition on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Dolphins win the opener today against the Jacksonville Jaguars 2017 on a end-of-the-game field goal from Jason Sanders. Wasn't pretty in the first half for the Dolphins, but it seemed like in the second half they really kind of got their mojo going, even though it still did look a little bit like week one. Some of the standouts today for me, at least, of course, you got to give your kudos to Jason Sanders making the big field goal, but Javon Holland had the game-changing play, punching the ball out of Travis Etienne's breadbasket as Travis Etienne was going into the end zone. I thought Jalen Waddle was fantastic. Devon Achane was a workhorse today. Tua looked a little off today. Tyreek looked a little off today, but it's kind of understandable for both of them considering Tua, first real action in a while, and Tyreek, first real action in a while, and he had a little detaining with the police officers earlier today. Calais Campbell looked great. I like Calais Campbell out there kind of leading this defense. Zach Sealer, as you said, Trevor, kind of had a quieter day.
He was quiet. He didn't jump off the page for me.
Did not jump off the page. It is still week one. We expect a lot of great things from him the rest of the year. And Alec Ingold, kudos to him. When your fullback's needed to get you 2 yards on a third down conversion at the end of the game, get you in field goal position, he gives you 6 on his one carry. That's efficient.
That's fullback.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Wisconsin guy. Badger. We better get ready for Alabama this coming weekend. So,
That's
Tyler Van Dyke's
my
been doing
buddy does a
terrible
show
all
of
the
him,
way, too.
actually. My buddy Colin Thompson, he has a show of Alex Ingold, so good for them.
Sweet. So let's go to some of the scores and stats. Thursday night, what a way to start the season. The Chiefs and the Ravens. I thought Lamar Jackson looked good. A lot of people didn't think he looked that good. He had a lot of rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes looked like Patrick Mahomes. And man, Isaiah Likely. It's a game of inches.
Mark Andrew fantasy owners are not happy about that game. I'll say that for sure.
Literally last play of the game, Isaiah Likely was catching a touchdown pass, except he had about an inch of his toe out of bounds.
Caleb Martin style, I like to say.
Patrick Mahomes, though, 20 for 28, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Whenever you need a play, just look to old number 15, and he has got you covered.
Got a question for you. Can you win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson?
Yes, I believe you can.
Okay.
Some people would argue no.
I was talking to my buddy Matt McCarthy about this. It's like, could he win one? He said, no, absolutely not.
He's
So
a two-time MVP.
Two-time MVP. It's like the conversation we had back in the day. Could Michael Vick help you win a Super Bowl before he left for jail for 2 years?
There were some issues, man.
Yes.
There was a couple issues in there. But no, I do. I believe anybody that can win the MVP can get you to the – I mean, he was a game away last year.
Yeah.
To going to the Super Bowl. Went to that AFC
But I'll say this
game.
about Spags. I like to say he's a hell of a defensive coordinator. He's a horrible head coach. Hell of a defensive coordinator. Take the run game away, make Lamar Jackson throw. That's how you win a game.
Keep that man on the defense. Of course, Friday night, Sao Paulo, Brazil. The field was absolute garbage. Field was garbage. Philadelphia Eagles, they defeat the Green Bay Packers 34-29. Jordan Love was injured at the end of the game. He has got, was it an MCL problem?
There's an MCL. They're saying 3 to 6 weeks.
3 to 6 weeks.
Packer fans, get ready for the Malik.
Still take a deep
Willis
breath on that
experience. And also, shout out to Packer fans that were going after the karma bit, by the way, after Aaron Rodgers got injured last week. This is it for you, Packer fans.
Take a deep breath, though. You don't lose him for the whole season after paying him all that money. So,
Saquon Barkley, best debut as a free agent player since Terrell Owens in 04. 3 touchdowns, by the way.
Very nice. Best team today so far, though, and best team so far this season. It's very, very early. New Orleans Saints.
Yes.
No doubter. They had 17 in the first quarter. They mollywop Carolina Panthers. I know it's the Carolina Panthers.
They pistol whipped them.
47-10.
If you're a survivor, I'm going to say, I like to give you guys a little survivor pool advice. Take anyone against Carolina.
By the way, the other team that everyone says is the worst team in the league by far.
New York Football Gigantes?
No, they say the New England Patriots, absolute basura. Well, that absolute basura team went in and beat the Bengals in Cincinnati today, 16-10. This is no surprise if you're a Bengals fan. They always seem to get off to a very slow start.
They need to play the Minnesota Vikings once a year as their home opener. They'll be good to go.
Minnesota Vikings were fantastic today.
They were. New York Football Gigantes.
They're terrible.
They stink. When is Joe Shane going to get fired? That is the conversation that people are asking me right now. Will he make it to Thanksgiving or the first beat down the Eagles and then give them?
Vikings win big 28-6 against the Giants. You want to talk about a fan base that's like, oh no, we paid our quarterback all that. And what did we get? Daniel Jones, 22 for 42, 186 yards. Oh, and that wasn't enough. He tossed in 2 interceptions.
Pick 6 to Andrew Van Ginkel, Dolphins legend. How about that?
Made Sam Darnold look like an all-pro. 19 for 24, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. They roll the New York Giants. If you're a Giants fan living down here in South Florida, well, at least you don't live in New York. You live in South Florida.
No. To try and think it's no love for me. Enjoy this. You're losing another decade of football.
Oh, what did I tell you about the Falcons being garbage this year? Everybody said, no, they're going to win the NFC South.
I didn't say that. I said Tampa Bay Buccaneers, by the way.
I went on the radio and said I watched them in one preseason game, first game, and I could tell something's wrong there. Something is wrong there. By the way, this is a quarterback controversy bowl. The Steelers and the Falcons. The Steelers win 18-10. Here's why there's a quarterback controversy. Your starting quarterback for the Steelers, Justin Fields, because Russell Wilson still injured, still dealing with some ankles. Justin Fields goes in there and wins. Kirk Cousins was Kirk Cousins. 16 for 26, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. Oh yeah, he decided to throw it to the other team twice.
I know. I'm ready. I know a lot of Atlanta fans, all his Michael Vick days. I'm enjoying this with passion.
So if you're getting that from Kirk Cousins, I saw Michael Penix Jr.
I actually enjoyed Michael Penix Jr. because I'm all about young quarterbacks starting, unlike some certain teams that won't start a young quarterback.
Texans and the Colts, they had a battle going on right there. The Texans, though, they did come out on top, 29-27. CJ Stroud doing what CJ Stroud does. 24-32, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. And guess how many times he threw it to the other team?
0?
Absolutely. That's what CJ Stroud doesn't do, is throw it to the other team.
Hey, he has to make Stephon Diggs happy anyways.
Stephon Diggs, they connected for a touchdown earlier today.
Awful celebration by Stephon Diggs. I will say this is
Buffalo Bills, you're always rolling the dice when you're playing the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray came out. He was mobile. He was throwing touchdowns. And then Josh Allen said, wait a second, somebody hold my beer. Josh Allen goes out there, starts running the ball, starts passing the ball. Buffalo down most of the game. Had enough in the tank, though. They win 34-28 over the Arizona Cardinals.
We had a touchdown return, by the way.
Yes, we did.
We did. I didn't say
era.
there will be one. Shout out to my buddy AJ. He said we had a bet on this, by the way.
And it's all about the U.
Yes. Shout out to Miami Hurricane, DJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas, 96-yard kick return. I can't tell you the last time I saw a kickoff returned for a touchdown until I saw it today by our very own from
97,
Miami,
97. You cut a yard short on yourself, by the way.
Barry Bonds. The Bears, you say, oh, the Bears are terrible. They're playing the Titans. Caleb Williams, what's he going to do? Will Levis, what's he going to do? Well, both of them really didn't do all that much. Caleb Williams, get this paltry stat line. 14 for 29, not a great percentage. 93 yards, not a great amount of yards. Will Levis, eat some more mayonnaise, man. 19 for 32.
Nice, the Connecticut kid. There's not that many starting QBs from Connecticut.
Well, Tyler Van Dyke's doing terrible for the Wisconsin
That is
Badgers.
true.
19 for 32, 127 yards, 1 touchdown. And guess how many times he threw it to the other team?
2.
Yep, that's the number for today. It's either 0 or 2.
Or my favorite, number 4.
But the Bears score 14 in the fourth, and they win 24-17. Also, a punt blocked and returned by Mr. Simone Biles.
How about that?
Jonathan Owens.
How about that?
What a big year for them.
Chris Maragos would be proud of all these block punts, too. Special teams acer back in the day.
Special teams. Once again, Dolphins win 20-17. Both quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa, they decided to be part of the zero club when it comes to interceptions today and not throw it to the other team. We got a couple of more games on the slate. The Broncos and Seahawks are tied at 3 in the second quarter. The Raiders and the Chargers. This is a good game right here.
This is my favorite. I love a 405 Raider Charger game like the next person does. I know not people will watch it down here, but those are the most exciting games to watch when there's no other game to watch if you have Sunday ticket.
Big rivalry game.
A lot of Raider fans in LA already. I'm not lying. I have friends ask me, like, There's a lot of Raider
Oh,
fans.
it's more of a Raiders home game than a Chargers game.
Oh, yeah.
Nonetheless, I'm expecting good stuff from both these teams, 7-3 in the second quarter. Cowboys, Browns, couple interesting storylines right here. Number one, Tom Brady is calling the game. I got it. It's cool. Whatever. Who cares?
Why you mention that? Because I don't care.
Okay, well, enough.
Dak Prescott got paid, though.
Dak Prescott is the highest paid player of all time for now. And, of course, you've got Deshaun Watson, the highest guaranteed quarterback of all time. They both have been whatever.
Also, CeeDee Lamb also got paid as well. So.
Yeah, there's always a circus surrounding the Cowboys. The Buccaneers, they're up 6-0 on the Commanders at the end of the first.
Your
Tonight,
boy, Jaden Daniels, by the way.
Jaden Daniels making his debut. So far, no points, though. How's he doing on the old field? Well, he's 4 for 5 with 24 yards, and he's rushed for 30 yards.
Hey, it's hard times in Washington right now.
Making a name for himself. Tonight at 8:20, you get the Lions and the Rams. Then tomorrow, if you're a Jets fan, hold your breath. They play the 49ers Monday Night Football.
Hold your breath if the DirecTV and ESPN will make a contract anyways, because none of us have ABC or ESPN.
We'll have that game right here on 560 WQAM. So take that. And take that, Jacksonville Jaguars. We might not have had the best first half, but we got the win. Jason Sanders at the end of the game, field goal 2017. Come back next. We're going to hear from some of the big stars of the game. Jaylen Phillips, Devon Achane, a couple other people. My cousin Vladimir Luson's in the locker room getting some of that audio. We're going to get it going in just a minute here on Game Day Uncensored 560 WQAM.
POW HD2 Miami, WKIS HD2 Boca Raton, an Odyssey sports station.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Game Day Uncensored, post-game edition.
We keep rolling. Don't be stressed. Y'all know what's online.
Recapping the Fins game. Real reaction, real opinions, real talk for real fans.
That sounds amazing.
On AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Game Day Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day. Pour me in, coach. Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Make sure your next Cadillac is backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. And by Williamson Automotive. Williamson is Miami.
There are no style points given out in the NFL, and that's a good thing for the Dolphins today because it wasn't exactly pretty, but there are wins and losses given out in the NFL, and the Dolphins took that W from the Jaguars. Last second Jason Sanders kick gives them a 20-17 win. If there were style points, though, the winner would be the Saints today, 47-10 over the Carolina Panthers, nonetheless. Wasn't pretty.
The Eagles Friday night in Brazil anyways. How about that?
Wasn't a pretty game, but it doesn't matter as long as you get the win. Jalen Ramsey, he was on a snap count. He got paid. He played okay. They went after him a little bit. I'm not going to lie. They got him a little bit. Tua Tagovailoa, he got paid. He looked off a little bit. Trevor, I think everybody will admit Tua was a little off today.
Yeah, I thought I was not the only one to say this, but like Tua didn't impress me at all.
Well, he wasn't a ton off. There was just a little something there. A little je ne sais quoi, as we say in French.
Oh, I like that word, je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais
Don't
quoi.
really know. It looked like maybe
that's a famous word that
rusty.
Michael Rappaport would say anyway.
A little rusty. Nonetheless, Javon Holland looking for a big contract. Played like he wanted that big contract today. Tyreek Hill, he had his incident earlier today. He had a traffic incident, a kind of a run-in with the police. He was handcuffed at some point, was released, did play, had some big numbers today. Still looked a little shook, rightfully so. And once again, not really good. I thought Jalen Waddle was in mid-season form. He had some big catches. He took some big hits. Devon Achane was a workhorse. And man, Jason Sanders, after kicking one of the worst kicks you might see this season. Can't predict how bad all the kicks are going to be this year. The one he missed, but the one he made was so beautiful at the very end of the game to give him that 2017
He's
win.
good at anything that's right down the middle. Anything else, it goes that anyways.
I mean, not everybody's Justin Tucker. I'm sorry. Or Morton Anderson.
Not everyone can be Jake Elliott either. Or David Akers.
I don't know. I like Jason Sanders. I liked him at the end of the game. I was never shook and not confident. I knew he was going to make it.
He bounced back quicker than like some kickers like Mike Vanderjack. That'll be in their head the whole time anyways.
That now leads us to our JM Lexus Player of the Game. Time for that JM Lexus Player of the Game at JM Lexus. It's the perfect time to catch the deal you've been waiting for. As the Golden Opportunity sales event continues, don't miss your opportunity to score even more now at JM Lexus. Those are your dudes over there at JM Lexus, Trevor.
Yes, I bought a car from there last spring of May of 2023. Shout out to Sheldon Brown and Reggie Leo. They're the best in the biz down here at the Lexus. I go there all the time. If you see me in the waiting room, say hello at least. Anyway, so I'll be doing some work for game dances and post game or anything else, just looking at sports scores and everything. So I could probably pick up a conversation at least.
My JM Lexus Player of the Game, Javon Holland.
I'll give you that one.
I got to give it to Javon Holland. First of all, he balled out today.
Yeah.
I watched him a lot because we do know him. He works at this radio station periodically. He seemed to be in position a lot. He seemed to be good in coverage. He seemed to put some pressure on the quarterback. He had a big third down breakup of a pass. And then, of course, the big punch out.
The peanut punch.
So just to put in perspective how big that play was, this is right towards the end of the third quarter. The score is 17-7.
Yep.
On the 2-yard line, basically, Travis Etienne looks to be going in for a touchdown. Javon Holland punches the ball out, goes to the back of the end zone. We recover. If he would have scored the touchdown, you don't have to do too much math. 24-7. Yeesh. That's tough.
That would have been a fun post-game show. I'll say that 24-7. I was getting ready for that one.
But instead, it stays 17-7. After the fumble, get the ball on the 20-yard line. Tua and Tyreek Hill do what Tua and Tyreek Hill do, connect for 80-yard touchdown. All of a sudden now, the score is 17-14. Totally changed the complexion of the game. I know the field goal at the end is something special and beautiful. I know that some of the Alec Ingold's runs and some of the other plays, but to me, and the other reason I love Javon Holland is because he's in a contract year. I love it when guys and girls, because I don't want to forget about our great female athletes, are in a contract year and they play like it. And he played like it today. Put a smile on my face. Trevor, who is your JM Lexus player of the game?
All right. I know this may sound like a Tobin and Leroy thing. I got to give it to Jaylen Phillips because I feel like injury, I was expecting he'll be ready by like week 4 or week 5 at least. Him coming out, especially he was non-existent in the first, but he showed up in the second half. He just showed up anyways and played well. So,
and we're going to hear from Jaylen Phillips in the next segment. My cousin Vladimir Lewis was in the locker room getting some of that audio. We're going to hear from some of the guys that made a big difference, like Javon Holland, like your guy, Jaylen Phillips, who I couldn't be more proud of him, what he did today.
I always say that I asked as you said, many guy who knows a lot of doctors. I always ask, how long does it take to get back to after Achilles injury? And those are like, you have to play right away to see how it feels. Like I think Kobe said that you couldn't baby yourself into it. You just have to like go at it and see what happens.
Yeah, it seemed like in the first half, he was kind of feeling himself out, maybe a little hesitant. Yeah. I don't blame him. It seemed like something clicked, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go all out. And when he started going all out, it was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That second half, he was literally, it seemed like every play, either rushing the quarterback, sacking the quarterback, stopping the run. He was all over the place.
Yeah, he was all over the place. I always feel like this defense, I said this down here since I've been down here. Who is the face of the defense? Jaylen Phillips is trying to make a name for himself, be the face of the defensive line and the defense. I feel like you have to have at least 2 people. I can't think of someone for the second one. You could say Javon Holland,
Jalen Ramsey. He's Jalen Ramsey
too, but I just feel I go with the young guy. Really, who is your people who are drafted and stuff. Sometimes you pay for someone; it could be their franchise, anyways. Jaylen Phillips is making a name for himself, especially after last year, that devastating Achilles injury. So he's my JM Lexus player of the game. Go there, have fun. Reggie Leo and Sheldon Brown will give you a deal.
That is the JM Lexus player of the game. At JM Lexus, it's the perfect time to catch the deal you've been waiting for as the Golden Opportunity Sales event continues. Don't miss your opportunity to score even more now at JM Lexus. Of course, you heard my play of the game, Javon Holland, totally changing the game on that one punch. Boop. And also, by the way, not only did that shift momentum, it seemed like after that, Travis Etienne, the Clemson Tigers, Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence just looked shook.
They tend to get shook a lot. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the franchise or how they're coached or mentally. They are very, if something doesn't go their way, it just doesn't even happen anyways. I feel like they crumble.
And I feel like the second big play of the game, of course, Javon Holland was a big one. Man, do you turn right around and go to Tyreek Hill with the bomb? Tua looked like old times. That could be a play. Jason Sanders, of course, with the big kick. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely great. Those are some of the plays that really stood out in my head. 305-567-0560 is the number. Up next, we're going to go to the locker room. My cousin Vladimir Lewis is in there. He's got some audio from some of the guys. We're going to hear from them. We're also going to try to hear from Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa. Maybe Tyreek Hill talked. Maybe he didn't. We're going to find out and hear more of that as Game Day Uncensored goes on 560 WQAM.
This hurricane season, keep it on AM 560.
on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Big day for the AFC East. The Dolphins defeat the Jaguars 20-17. Jason Sanders gets that last second of field goal. The Bills escape, really basically escaping. It was a very close game against the Cardinals. They were down for much of the game, winning 34-28. And the Patriots, who a lot of people think is the worst team in the NFL, they beat the Bengals, who a lot of people think is one of the best teams in the NFL, 16-10. That means tomorrow the Jets get the 49ers, and if the Jets lose, they start the season in last place in the division. Feels good if you're a Dolphins fan. Get the win, and then possibly get a Jets loss. Got to feel really good. The Bills are coming to town Thursday. Both teams had to throw out a lot of effort to get a W today. They're both going to be undefeated. They both have a short week. See how that affects anybody. The injuries seem to be somewhat minimal, at least for the Dolphins today. Not a lot of guys with a lot of serious injuries that we heard of. Of course, they've been nicked up all preseason, but nonetheless, you get the win. There are no such thing as style points in the NFL, only wins and losses. And the Dolphins, they have started the season off 1-0 with that 20-17 win, last second field goal by Jason Sanders. Some of the guys that made it happen today, the guy that we're really proud of, Jaylen Phillips. When he went down last year on Black Friday, Achilles injury, thought, man, he might be out for another season or at least most of next season. Well, then you started hearing all this stuff and seeing videos go viral about him working out and how he's going to be a monster when he gets back. And you thought, whoa, he may be back sooner than later. Then you start hearing he's been taken off the restrictions list. Then you see him start today. You didn't hear too much of him in the first half. I think he was kind of feeling his way out, the Achilles. A little tentative, but then it clicked and he started going 90-0, and he was all over the field, all over the locker room. Is my cousin Vladimir Lewis, who you can hear on Sports Day, usually on Saturdays and Sundays from noon to 4 right here on 560 WQAM. He caught up with Jaylen Phillips and talked to him about his game today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was going on before the game. I heard some murmurs about stuff, but, I mean, obviously they were able to, move past that and perform well, so it's huge. It's huge.
Go ahead. How did it feel getting that first sack?
Oh, it felt amazing. I mean, obviously getting the first one down in the books is a great feeling, but obviously more happy about the win. So everything's good in Miami right now.
How big was that 4th and 1 stop that you guys had?
Huge, man. There were so many different plays during the game that really just made the game. Obviously Javon's big play, Tyreek coming right after that. Man, that's just the character of our team. Bend but don't break. And yeah, we came out with the win. So.
What you guys do in the second half to stop and limit them? Kelvin scoreless in the second half?
Yeah, we just settled down and played the defense that we know how to play. That's what it's all about. Like I just said, bend but don't break. So we're gonna make the corrections and come out next week, come out Thursday, and hopefully not have that flat start.
How good did it feel to get there?
It was amazing. I'm so grateful for everything, man. I'm grateful for this opportunity. It's been a long road coming back from this injury, but I feel amazing. I'm ready to just keep moving forward.
How does it feel, Jaylen?
I feel great. I feel amazing. Let's go.
So you'll be full go for Thursday as well?
Let's go.
Some people say you beat science with your recovery coming back.
I'm not worried about science, man. It's all God, man, and it's all hard work, dedication, man. I believe for this game, and I'm just so grateful to be healthy right now.
Hey, you were close on the field. I can tell you've been a little frustrated.
That's how it be. But you just got to keep rushing. That's what it's all about. And obviously when the time came, man, I had to close it out. So, yeah, I feel very grateful.
How big was Calais early on?
Huge. I mean, in stature and in playmaking. But he was amazing.
What were the
emotions when you were heading out there on the field for the first time? Because I know you probably lived that out in your mind for months.
Yeah, I tried to not let the moment get too big, tried not to get too emotional about it, really just get into that kind of calm flow state. But it was an incredible film, man. I'll probably cry a little bit after this, but it's amazing.
What about the play where Holland and Cater combined to stop them when it looked like they were going in?
Huge, man. That's Javon, man. It's what he does. Like, we've seen this time and time again. Guys just stepping up when we need him the most. So, yeah, really, really big plays from him.
What was Calais like in the huddle? And then when you guys were having the communication, what was he like?
I mean, Calais is just a savvy vet out there, man, and he's a force to be reckoned with, and we all respect the hell out of him, and he's a leader in this team. So just getting us going and doing what he has to do.
When the defense gets turnovers like you guys did at the end zone, it seems like it fed the offense. How does that make you guys feel?
Yeah. I mean, that's sorry to cut you off, but that's what it's all about, man. Just capitalizing on momentum, huge play, and then being able to score right after that. I mean, it's a game changer. Just get healthy and just make sure that we're taking care of our bodies. And like I said, get in the film room, correct the things that we need to correct, and just keep pushing forward.
Jaylen Phillips looked absolutely great today, even especially in the second half. It seemed like he got a little more comfortable knowing that he had fully recovered from that Achilles injury, and he was just a monster in that second half. You do have to worry a little bit because it is a short week, and he is coming off that injury about his health, but he seems to be happy, healthy, and ready to go for a Thursday game against the Buffalo Bills. Of course, we'll be here for that. He also made references, of course, to Tyreek Hill earlier today being detained by the police officers because of a traffic incident. But that's one of those things where, yeah, it might kind of jar Tyreek, but as a teammate, yeah, you do feel for him, but you're so locked into the game. You're really kind of, just like, oh man, okay, you're okay. Let's get out there. Let's get it done. So proud of Jaylen Phillips coming back like he did. And you heard Vladimir asking him, like, you beat science. And he said he's not worried about beating science. He just wants to go out there and play, and he feels totally blessed. And we are blessed to have him on this team, not just for the person that he is, but the way that he can play. He was one of the anchors of that defense today. And the guy on the defense that also made the biggest difference, he made a reference to Javon Holland. Javon Holland punches the ball out on the goal line. Travis Etienne seemed to be going in, going to give the Jaguars at that point would have been a 24-7 lead. That changed everything. He punches out the ball. We recovered in the end zone. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Turn around, 80-yard pass. Tyreek Hill catches it from Tua Tagovailoa, and all of a sudden the game has changed. Caught up with Javon Holland in the locker room, and he was talking about making the big punch.
Over 1,000 shots on ball in practice. So, practice reality. I mean, it becomes game time, live reps. So that's all it was, man. Just trying to punch the ball out.
The satisfaction of immediately seeing, next play or 2 plays later, Tyreek with the big touchdown.
Oh, yeah, definitely, 100%. It changed the momentum of the game. I'm happy to be the guy that my name was called and I was able to make that play. But it could be any of us. That's the sweet part about being on the team. You just got to look for your opportunity. Play your assignment technique, and then when that thing happens, you just take advantage of it. So I was happy to do that.
I saw a couple minutes ago Tua come up to you with the talk to me. Obviously, there's been a lot of money talk here. What does that mean when your teammates are giving you love, especially given kind of where you are in your career?
Oh, it means a lot. It means they trust me. That's important for me as I'm playing for the team. I'm playing for my teammates and myself, but my teammates more than anything else. They family strong, my family strong. I'm gonna play for them because I know they got to feed people too. So it means a lot.
Javon, when you make a play like that, do you almost know Mike's gonna take a shot in the day in that time?
I have no idea what the offense does. My job is to get the ball back to the offense. So that's all I was trying to do.
He was trying to just knock the ball out, and then the rest is history. Changed the complexion of the game. Tua to Tyreek. I got to tell you, man, that play was a momentum changer. Like I said, 24-7, that is not something that you want to be a part of, and he kept that from happening, and the rest is history. Once again, Jacksonville Jaguars didn't do themselves very many favors either. They went for 4th down on their own 35-yard line at the very beginning of the 4th quarter. We got it back. We did shank the kick, but it just felt like at that point the momentum was really, really rolling, and you had a feeling that the Dolphins were going to find a way to win the game, and that's exactly what they did. They made the plays when they counted. Once again, Jason Sanders had missed the kick earlier after that failed 4th down conversion at the beginning of the 4th quarter. He redeemed himself at the end of the game. Pretty much a no-doubter. Second it left his foot, looked good. It was good. The Dolphins win 2017. Get ready for a Thursday night game against the Buffalo Bills rival. Some people saying a must win. I'm not saying it's a must win, but it would be sure nice to get that second win of the season this Thursday, 8:15 at Hard Rock Stadium. Speaking of Hard Rock Stadium, Vladimir Louison, my cousin, he has been out there all day. We're going to call and talk to him next, find out what the feel in the stadium and in the Dolphins winning locker room was like. That is next here on Game Day Uncensored, 560 WQAM.
of your favorite Miami teams and more can be heard on the free Odyssey app. Don't miss out. Download it today and make WQAM your favorite station.
Time for more Game Day Uncensored, post-game edition on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Doesn't matter how you win, it's that you win. And the Dolphins did exactly that, finding a way to win. That is a positive that we can glean from the game. Wasn't always pretty, especially the first half. Second half, though, looked like they started kind of getting their mojo going. Did Tua seem a little bit off? Kind of. Did Tyreek seem a little bit off? Most likely, with good reason. He had the incident earlier in the day. Some of the guys like Jalen Waddle looked really good. Devon Achane, all over the place. Jaylen Phillips got his groove going. Some of the other guys, forgot about Chop Robinson. Did not hear much about him today. What was the feel at the stadium? What was the feel in the locker room? Well, somebody that was there is my cousin Vladimir Louison, who you can hear with myself on Sports Day weekends, Saturday, Sunday from noon to 4. Vlad is joining us right now. Vlad, got to ask you, what was it like in the locker room? Was it a celebration? Was it a serious event? What was going on? How did it kind of feel when you were in the locker room? We've been listening to some of the sound you sent us from some of the guys like Jaylen Phillips and Javon Holland.
It wasn't like a celebration. A little bit more of a relief. They know they could play way better than that. But the morning started off, kind of wonky. So with all the stuff that went on with Tyreek, and then the first half, they really didn't play good for like really 30 minutes of the game. It wasn't until midway through the third quarter they started looking like the Miami Dolphins. So they're happy to get the win. They know they got to improve going into Thursday night's game against Buffalo. But seeing also what Buffalo did against Arizona, it seems like both teams have a lot of improvement to do. But just get the win. It's week one. There's still a lot of rust. The timing is not there due to whatever, maybe, injuries, lack of practice. You could tell that some guys haven't really practiced a lot. And but when plays needed to be made, they made the plays, and they won the game.
Did there seem to be a tension with the team for what happened earlier in the day with Tyreek Hill, or was it more just business as usual?
No, it wasn't business as usual. It was like, what's going on? Why was 5-0 messing with my boy? You know what I mean? Like, it was like, why was 5-0 messing with a teammate? I had a John Smith interview that I was trying to get to Trevor earlier that just didn't get through, but John was like, he was there. He actually was there coming into the stadium and seeing what was going on with his teammate, and he talked about some of the things that happened with law enforcement and patriots. He wanted to make sure there was no police brutality on Tyreek or anything like that. And I think once everybody knew that Tyreek was okay, they just had to focus on the game. I didn't want to say like they lost the game and Tyreek didn't have the 80-yard touchdown. I don't want that to be the excuse that what happened early in the morning. They fought through it. They hunkered down and they got the win. They played well in the second half. A couple of things that bothered me though, was the fact that there was a lot of negative plays. If you remember the third quarter when they made the pass to Jaylen Waddle for a big 30, 40-yard gain, and they were on the verge of scoring. They were in Jaguars territory. And 3 plays, back to back to back, just negative plays. I think altogether the Dolphins might have had 7 to 8 plays that went minus yard. The running game, there was none.
No running game. No running game.
None whatsoever. The defense was shaky in the first half. After that first series where Calais made his presence known, it was a bit shaky, especially the secondary. There's going to be a lot of that secondary looks like it's going to give us some big plays. But the other thing I've been saying to you since all preseason is that they may have a break, bend but don't break type of defense, and they're going to cause turnovers. And it looked to me when they made that when Holland caused the fumble on ATN. I mean, that was a big play. I mean, that was a 14-point switch.
Yes.
Jaguars were going in, just scored touchdown. It's a 17-point lead. It's 24-7. And I don't know if Miami's coming back. Get the fumble. You score on the next play, 80-yard to Tyreek. Tyreek does I'm going to, I'm arrested celebration. And then the fumble, the forced fumble on the kickoff. And then that was it. And you started to see Miami playing way better. The defense was juice. Got to give them credit for the second half. They shut out Jacksonville. They made and in important time, they got enough pressure to cause Trevor Lawrence to make some passes or plays that he didn't want to make. Both teams, a lot of drop balls by both teams. A lot of drop balls.
Yeah, so, it's week one.
It was a week one game, Dan. It was just a week one game. But you're just happy with the win. The crowd, it was electric. It was hot. Dan, I don't know how you did it last year. Bro, it was hot.
I want to ask you about the crowd. I know it's hot. It's freezing in the press box, but the crowd. Now, I'm getting all the pictures.
Oh, I needed the ice of the press box to be frozen. It was hot. Now, let me tell you something. It was a packed house, but it was in a sellout.
Really? So Vlad, his phone probably just died right there. That's no problem. Vlad saying it's hot. It was a packed house, not a sellout. I think virtually a sellout, but maybe not technically full to capacity. I was going to ask Vlad because I'm getting all the pictures now of Tyreek Hill when he scored his touchdown, his celebration. Jaylen Waddle was pretending to handcuff him. I was going to ask him how the crowd reacted to that. It's one of those things. If you've ever been to Hard Rock Stadium, it is a big stadium, but it does kind of have an intimate feel to it, and you can see what's going on. So I don't know exactly how the crowd reacted to Tyreek Hill doing the whole handcuff thing with Jaylen Waddle. So I think we have Vlad back with us right now. Vlad, how did the crowd react when Tyreek Hill did the celebration where he had like Jaylen Waddle handcuff him after the touchdown?
We all wanted to see the Tyreek celebration because once you heard that Tyreek got arrested and was let go, he was cited and he was going to be able to play. I think a lot of people should have put anytime touchdown Tyreek Hill. They should have gone on the Hard Rock bet and put anytime touchdown. And you had to figure these are the Miami Dolphins. They're very good with touchdown celebrations, and you just had to figure Tyreek was going to do something that was going to be a reference to what happened to him early in the day. So when he did that, the crowd loved it. Let me tell you another thing about the crowd. Anytime Tyreek touched the ball, the crowd went crazy.
That's great.
So, all right. So you already know who the 70,000 is supporting in this Tyreek versus the Miami-Dade County police office. But Miami against the law enforcement. They were all for Tyreek, and people were trying to say, oh, we don't. I'm like, man, listen. Unless the man was smoking ganja or doing he's a block away from the state of Michigan, you should know who your stars are. You should know who the stars are. It's just certain players on the Dolphins team you should mess with them. Or just let them go if they're not doing anything crazy. I don't think he was driving 500 miles per hour around the time. So I don't know if he was driving 100 miles per hour. He wasn't doing anything like that.
Right.
Something egregious, then I understand. But it doesn't seem like it. And from what a lot of the players, obviously, what Drew Rosenhaus said, a lot of people actually supporting Tyreek, and the 70,000 plus that was supporting the Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium definitely got number 10's back.
So it was a pro-Tyreek crowd, not just because it's with the Dolphins, but because the fans have his back. So happy about that, Vlad. Cool yourself off, man. Take the rest of the day off. Enjoy. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you Thursday on the Game Day Uncensored post-game.
All right, guys, have a good one.
Much appreciation. Yeah, you got to figure the crowd was really pro-Tyreek, very fired up about that. We don't know what happened. All we have that are facts is that Tyreek Hill was stopped for erratic driving, and he was handcuffed, and he was put to the ground. He was released. He did play. He did catch a touchdown, 130 yards, and he had that 80-yard bomb. Tyreek Hill, I can't believe it, spoke with the media afterwards, and we're going to hear that press conference in its entirety in the next hour. I would be very wary if I was Tyreek Hill's wife or friend or lawyer or agent, but apparently I haven't heard anything crazy. Maybe he does say something crazy. We're going to hear from him. We do know that Vlad said the crowd was all for Tyreek Hill. And when he did the celebration, which I thought maybe could garner a little bit of controversy, where he scored his touchdown and Jaylen Waddle ran up and acted like he was handcuffing him, maybe that might get some pushback. And maybe there is some pushback on social media. But from what we're hearing initially is the crowd loved it. They enjoyed it. And they felt it. Vlad did say, and I did find this very important, that the arrest did kind of affect the team. I thought, it's a lot of times you come into your office and someone got a ticket, not always arrested, but they come in and you go, "Oh, are you okay?" And then you go about your business. But he said the team did seem to be talking a lot about it in the locker room, making reference to it. It wasn't a hush, hush, shush, shush thing. And Tyreek Hill spoke with the media. So it should be interesting to see as the days go on how this progresses. Details, of course, will come out in one way, shape, or form. We don't know if there were body cameras. We don't know what exactly transpired, but we just do know that Tyreek Hill was cited. He was put in handcuffs. He was not taken, quote unquote, into custody. There's so many buzzwords that, you got to dance around. Tyreek Hill, though, did have a big day. I thought, lacking of that 180-yard play, it was a big day for him numbers wise. I think I'm remembering so much last year, all the big crazy plays, that I'm like, it wasn't as many fireworks as I expected, but still 7 receptions, 130 yards and 1 touchdown. And he was overthrown on that one pass early in the game, which he might have taken to the house and might have scored on. And a couple other times, Tua was a little off to Tyreek Hill, but still, nonetheless, to do that after what he went through earlier in the day, it just absolutely amazes me. And Tua also having a big day. 23 for 37, 338 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. Trevor Lawrence looked like he was having a big day too at halftime. And then, as Vlad said, the defense, and really just it seemed like the Miami Dolphins got into their groove. So was that a combination probably of first game, first half? Also, what happened to Tyreek kind of being a little jarring. It's a new type of football where no one really plays a lot in the preseason. So game 1 is more of like a preseason game than a regular season game. Is it also the Jaguars possibly kind of taking some of the big plays away and saying you have to beat us underneath? I think it's all a combination of all those things. The main thing you have to know is 20-17, the Miami Dolphins do defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they do get ready for a short week this coming Thursday, 8:15, Hard Rock Stadium against rival Buffalo Bills, who had to come back against the Arizona Cardinals earlier today to win 30-27. I'm sorry, 30-28. So they did get the win there. Both teams spending a lot of energy today, and on a short week, it should be interesting. We'll find out what happens. Everyone in the AFC East won except for the Jets. They play tomorrow night against the 49ers. And like I said, if they do lose to the 49ers, they will start the season in the cellar of the AFC East. Sounds so good. Sounds so good. One more hour of Game Day Uncensored is on the way. We're going to hear from Tyreek Hill, maybe Mike McDaniel, and get you wrapped up with everything that's going on in the NFL and with the Dolphins game today here on Game Day Uncensored 560 WQAM.
QAM Miami, WPOW HD2 Miami, WKIS HD2 Boca Raton, an Odyssey sports station.
Powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Game Day Uncensored, post-game edition.
We keep rolling. Don't be stressed. Y'all know what's online.
Recapping the Fins game. Real reaction, real opinions, real talk for real fans.
That sounds amazing.
On AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Game Day Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Make sure your next Cadillac is backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac. Proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. And by Williamson Automotive. Williamson is Miami.
There was some good, some bad, and some ugly today for the Dolphins. First things first, the ugly, of course, Tyreek Hill was detained right before the game, just a block or two away from Hard Rock Stadium. He was pulled over by police for what they said was traffic citations involving him maybe not driving what they deemed completely legal. I'm trying to be as lawyerish as I can possibly be. We do know that Tyreek Hill was handcuffed at some point, but he was released and he did play today. And he did speak with the media after the game. And I can tell you, we're going to listen to it in the next segment. I listened to a little bit of it. A little spicy. It's a little spicy. That's why I said if I were a lawyer, which I'm not, if I were Tyreek Hill's friend, which I wish I were, but I'm not, if I were Tyreek Hill's wife, I'm not. If I was someone around Tyreek Hill, I'd probably say best not to talk to anybody. But he did. And it was a little bit spicy. I will say that. So we're going to hear that in its entirety. The next segment, he'll address it right out the gate. Let's talk about some of the good, though. The good. So proud and happy for Jaylen Phillips, a guy who I really thought we wouldn't see until the middle of the season after tearing his Achilles on Black Friday. If you watched the Hard Knocks last year on HBO, he was just absolutely devastated. He has dealt with so much adversity and injuries throughout his career. Started over there at UCLA. There was a point where he thought about just quitting football in college because his health issues, he got hit by cars. It was all types of stuff. Transferred to the U, played well at the U, got drafted by the Dolphins. He's dealt with injury after injury after injury. Like I said, he's even thought about retiring. I really thought when he got hurt last year with the Achilles, he might even say, you know what, I can't do that. But no, he said, I'm coming back. I'm going to be a monster. And he played like it today, especially in the second half. The first half, not so much of a factor. It seemed like most of the Dolphins were kind of feeling their way through it. Probably a combination of first game of the season, a little bit of rust, the Tyreek incident. But Jaylen Phillips also probably worried a little bit about his Achilles. Second half, it seemed like something clicked. And he said, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. And when he started going for it, he was all over the field. He got a sack. He was rushing the quarterback. He was stopping runs. He was tackling all over the place. Absolutely wonderful. Another part of the good, Javon Holland in a contract year. This is the last year of his rookie contract. Seems like everybody got paid this offseason except for him. He balled out today. Seemed like he was always in position, making plays. He made the play of the game. Maybe you'd say the game saver. Travis Etienne Jr. was about 2 yards away from rushing it in. Javon Holland punches the ball out, goes into the end zone. We recover it the next play. 80-yard bomb from Tua to Tyreek. That is a 14-point swing. And when you have 14-point swings in the NFL, that usually is a death knell for the other team. And that's really after that, the Jaguars never recovered. Another good, Devon Achane, who we're going to hear from in just a minute. He just seemed to be whatever you need, coach. I'll do it. Catching passes out in the backfield, running the ball, making some big plays, making guys miss. He was one of the highlights of the day. Talk about the ugly. Well, the first half was really kind of ugly, especially for the Dolphins. Nothing really seemed to happen. There wasn't a lot of continuity on the offense. Chop Robinson, our first round rookie, I don't know if he even really played. I tried to keep it out. He was a special teams guy?
I saw on special teams, yes.
I did not see him play on defense very much. And the thing is, I didn't notice even. So Maybe they're bringing him along slowly. We had talked to Omar Kelly. He's, of course, the beat writer for the Miami Herald. He said he's going to be, at first, probably more of a third down type guy, a pass rushing edge guy. Calais Campbell looked great. But yeah, Chop Robinson not really heard from much in this first game of his NFL career. Also, ugly Trevor Lawrence. He did have that beautiful pass early in the game to former LSU Tiger, or forever LSU, Brian Thomas Jr. But after that, and especially after the fumble, he seemed rattled. He seemed shook. The defense did start getting after him, but he had a very, very, very pedestrian day. 12 for 21, 162 yards and a touchdown. To put that in perspective, how good the second half was for the Dolphins and how bad it was for the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had 125 yards and a touchdown at halftime. So you just do the math on that. Not even 40 yards of passing for him in the second half. That's why the Dolphins get a 20-17 win. Some good, some bad, some ugly. Of course, one of the goods, once again, Devon Achane, my cousin Vladimir Louison, was in the media scrum with them, and Devon Achane talking about the game and just everything surrounding the Dolphins.
How was this running game in this game, in your opinion?
We had a couple good runs. I wouldn't say it was too bad. I feel like as a team, we came out sluggish, but in the second half, as you see, we picked it up. But as long as we come out the win, I feel like, we can always correct the mistakes.
Is it just rust or it's just lack of practice for the mistakes and there's a lot of negative plays?
Like you said, man, it's week one, so I would say, I'd rather we come out and be rusty week one than week 17. So
week 17 is going. How do you feel being used in the passing game as well?
I feel good, man. I feel like I'm as comfortable as I'm going to linebacker receiver as I am going to running back. So it's not nothing new to me. So if I go to receiver, I feel regular.
What is it like coming back from that deficit and responding to the adversity?
It just shows what type of team we have. Like you said, man, they haven't had us down 10 points, but we came in second half, made some adjustments, and like you said, it showed you that the game could turn out like this. Like you said, man, it gave me inches, and the defense, they did a shutout second half. So it was up to us to go out there and put points on the board.
How weird was it to begin the game or begin the day with knowing that two of your teammates were in handcuffs?
Man, like you said, man, we checked on him, make sure they was okay. But at the end of the day, like you said, we had the game, so he was locked in, and if he was good, we was good.
Yeah, that's the way I thought most of the Dolphins probably approached it. If he was good, we were good. It's all good. Let's go on, take care of business. Devon Achane did seem like he had business on his mind. Did seem like he's going to catch a lot of passes this year. A lot of checkdowns or maybe design screen passes out there to Devon Achane. Raheem Mostert did not look right. I did see him go to the sideline after one run where he looked like he was laboring a little bit. I don't know if he might have tweaked or what may be wrong with Raheem Mostert, but not a day that we would expect from Raheem Mostert. Like I said, 6 carries, just 9 yards, no touchdowns. He caught one pass also during the game. Let's see, his receiving was, I want to say, two passes for 10 yards. Devon Achane, though, was all over the place when it was catching passes. He made a couple of people miss on some of those screen passes. 7 receptions for 76 yards. And then he gets some in the running, 10 rushes for 24 yards and that one touchdown, which again, early in the season, you want to see the guys controlling the line of scrimmage. We know last year the Dolphins had some issues on short yardage downs. They were right there on the 1 or 2 yard line. Devon Achane almost punched it in the play before. Then he did punch it in the following play. So Devon Achane, very happy that he got the touchdown. Very happy for the way he played today. And like I said, it seems like he's going to be a little more of a Swiss Army knife, a wild card for this team. They had talked about using him a little more at receiver, and we know the receiving core a little thin right now. Almost got a little bit thinner this morning, but Tyreek Hill was not taken into custody. He was just handcuffed, then released. I was very proud of Jaylen Waddle. I really thought Jaylen Waddle was as solid as you could expect. It seemed like when all else would fail, Jaylen Waddle was there with a big catch. He averaged almost 22 yards a catch over his 5 receptions. That is a good number. That is what we're expecting from this offense. And like Devon Achane said, might be a little bit rusty, but I'd rather be rusty in week 1 than in week 17. So team a little bit rusty. They looked a little bit rusty. I think Tua Tagovailoa probably could admit that he was a little bit rusty. Like I said, he didn't look terrible. He just looked like there was something a little bit off, just a little bit off from Tua Tagovailoa. Nonetheless, he did have a big day statistically, 23 completions, 37 yards, 37 attempts and 23 completions, 338 yards, and a 1 touchdown. He also had that 1 run for 11 yards. Looked a little bit more mobile. He also got tracked down a couple of times, but didn't take any serious big hits, I thought. So still to be determined. A lot going on with these teams. Jordan Poyer had the worst face mask I think I've ever seen in my life. I thought he broke his hand. He apparently had a soft cast on his hand, got a face mask, and the cast stuck to the guy's helmet. They had to take the helmet off to get his hand free from the helmet. Jordan Poyer had this look on his face like, how can they throw a flag? But then again, there's just so much evidence that I did it. Nonetheless, Dolphins go on to win 2017, and you did hear Devon Achane just make a reference to, we pitched a shutout. The defense pitched a shutout in the second half. Much thanks to, once again, Javon Holland getting that punch out at the goal line, basically, and giving us that 14-point swing that really did change the game. This team, if you want to glean some more positives, number one, they didn't seem to play their best today. At least it didn't look like they could play their best today, and they still won. Also, they handled adversity well. They were getting outplayed. They found a way to win. And that's what the NFL is all about. You're not as good as your best week. You're not as bad as your worst week. Miami goes in there finding a way to win. Maybe when not everything's clicking, maybe when there's a little bit of adversity, they just found a way to win, and they got a positive result week after week after week. If you can continue to do that, you continue to hone your craft. Maybe you get rid of a little bit of the rust. Like I said, now week one isn't like the week one of my childhood or probably your childhood where you had 4 preseason games, you had these camps, you had these practices. Now it seems like you got the extra game in the season. You have 1 less game in the preseason. A lot of guys sit out because of injury or rest, veteran rest day. Seems like a lot of people are a lot more rusty week one as they start. And today, probably chalk that up.
It's a new preseason. Week one.
Is week one the new preseason?
305, 567, 0560.
Instead of week one, it's week half instead of the whole week.
Pretty much. It's all about getting through September, be 2-2 at least.
It did seem like it had some preseason feel to it, but once again, not freaking out at all. Not a one worry as all. Like I said, even though you felt a little bit rusty, the numbers were still good. Like I said, Tua Tagovailoa, 338 yards, 1 touchdown. Tyreek Hill, after all he went through, still 7 receptions, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. Jaylen Waddle, 5 receptions, 109 yards. Devon Achane, 76 yards receiving. Would have liked a little bit more from the tight end. Durham Smythe, he had a couple of balls thrown his way, but nothing doing. And Jonnu Smith, who we thought was going to come in and be our big athletic, and he did look great out there, at least physically. 1 reception for 7 yards. Of course, 1 game does not make a season. Overall, though, you got to be happy with those numbers. Biggest number that you have to be happy with is that the Dolphins win 20-17, and they're on an upward swing, it seems like. The first half, not very good. They go into halftime. They were down 17-7. They failed on 2 fourth-down conversions when they were sort of driving, but then they come out in the second half and look like a dominant team that really got things going. They pitched that shutout. Now, you can argue they were driving down there, but Javon Holland made the big play. Well, big plays are a part of the game. You got to count that. You got the big play from Tua to Tyreek, and then you got the big stops at the end. And then you got the big plays converting. Once again, kudos to Alec Ingold, fullback, who got that 1 rush for 6 yards when they needed about 2 on a 3rd down conversion, put him in field goal position. Once again, kudos to Jason Sanders, who earlier in the 4th quarter kicked a miserable ball. I don't know what happened. I watched the replay. Didn't seem like anything slipped or tripped or just bad kick. He redeems himself last second of the game, kicking the field goal, making the field goal, and winning the game for the Miami Dolphins. A 52-yard field goal at the end of the game. 2 for 3 on the day. Happy for Jason Sanders with 52-yard field goal. Okay. He had 8 points on the day. If he's your fantasy kicker, I don't even know who my fantasy kicker is. I haven't checked my fantasy team. We've been here all day. And now we got a Thursday game coming up against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo had a little tough game against a team that I think can always be tough. The Arizona Cardinals. You never know what you're going to get from Kyler Murray. At first, Kyler Murray was coming out gangbusters, but then he finished the day 21 for 31 with 162 yards and a touchdown. Josh Allen really kind of started just taking over the game when they realized that his team was down and they needed him. He stepped up, 18 for 23, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had some rushing 9 rushes for 39 yards and those 2 touchdowns that he scored. So through the air, 2 touchdowns, on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Seems like Josh Allen was called on a little more than he wanted to be today. Nonetheless, they got the win. And like we said,
definition of a make some noise team, the Arizona Cardinals.
makes him, yeah. I do like Kyler Murray. Some people don't. They think he's a video gamer and he doesn't care very much. He's maybe undersized. I find him very exciting. I think he is a good player, and it's always scary when you play the Arizona Cardinals because they do have some good pieces on that team. So I like him. DJ Dallas, kudos from the U. He returned a kickoff today. 97 yards. 97 yards. DJ Dallas, keeping up with our Miami guys. Jaylen Phillips, of course, our main Miami guy, playing here in Miami, making us all proud. Okay, the big story today, besides the win, we've given you the notes. It's Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, of course, traffic incident right outside the stadium. Vladimir was saying it was a block away. It was very close to the stadium. He was on his way to the game, pulled over, put into handcuffs, released. He played, he caught a touchdown today. He spoke with the media after the game. And I'm telling you, I've listened to some of it. It's a little spicy. It's a little spicier than I thought I was going to get from Tyreek Hill. We'll hear that post-game press conference in its entirety next, right here on Game Day Uncensored, 560 WQAM.
anytime. Get it now and make WQAM your favorite station.
Time for more Game Day Uncensored, Postgame Edition on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Mama said there'd be days like this. That rings true for one. Number 10, Tyreek Hill. Start off a little running with the police, get handcuffed, get released, go to your job. Have an interesting day at the office. All in all, pretty successful day, though, at the office. You catch a touchdown, 80-yard bomb, by the way, 7 receptions, 130 yards, and you get the win, 20-17. You guys are checking on you. You have a little celebration. It has been announced that the officer that put Tyreek Hill in handcuffs has been placed on administrative leave. A lot of people are saying, ooh, he's in trouble. I don't know if he's so much in trouble. I think that might be more standard operating procedure. I'm trying to look into that right now, but I'm guessing with everything that's going on, they probably just usually do that in instances like this. Nonetheless, that officer has been placed on administrative leave. Tyreek Hill, he spoke with the media after. You wonder, what's he going to talk about? Is he going to talk about the 80-yard bomb from Tua Tagovailoa?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Is he going to talk about how, the team looked a little rusty?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
No, you got to get to the elephant in the room. And he stepped up to the mic and he manned up.
Big for cops, man. But obviously, everybody has bad apples in every situation, so I want to be able to use this platform, to figure out a way to like flip this and, make it a positive on both ends, on my end and then also Miami-Dade, so that way we can team together and, do something positive for the community, because that's what it's all about, bro. Like, you guys are here to like protect us as individuals and I have a platform and I want to be able to team up with you guys. So that's all I got to say. So.
Tyreek, why do you believe the police put you in handcuffs?
I have no idea, for real. No idea, man. It's crazy. No idea. It wasn't disrespectful, because my mom didn't raise me that way. Didn't cuss. Didn't do none of that. So, like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, man.
I guess the police officer was put on administrative leave. Were you aware of that? And if
Nah,
so,
I wasn't. That should tell you everything you need to know then. You feel me? Should tell you everything you need to know. So that's all I'm gonna say about that situation. I'm just glad that my teammates were there to like support me in that situation, because I felt alone, and when they showed up, it made me realize that we got a fucking good team this year, dog. For them to put their life on the line. You know what I'm saying? So it was amazing to see, man. So
was it on your mind when the game started? Were you able to completely move on?
You know what? The thing about me, man, I have a great support system at home, man, from my wife, from my mom, and then even when I come inside the locker room with my teammates, man. So I was able to pray with my family, able to talk to my wife, calm down a little bit, and I was straight, man. Because I know at the end of the day, I still got a job to do. You feel me? And nobody worried about if Reek come in, if he dropped 3 passes because he's still thinking about the little scenario. Nobody thinking about that, man. I still got a job to do. So got a family to feed. I gotta be a leader of this team. I gotta find ways to bounce through adversity. No matter or whenever it hits. So
How do you answer that question, what if you weren't Tyreek Hill?
it's hard, man. Still trying to figure that out. It's all across the world, man. You see it. I don't want to bring it race into it, but sometimes it gets kind of iffy when you do. You feel me? So what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? Lord knows what that guy or guys would have did. You feel me? And I was just making sure that, I was doing what my uncle always told me to do whenever you in a situation like that. Just listen. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Just listen. So got to be careful, man.
Did an officer put hands on you when you were in handcuffs?
Yeah.
what was going through your head during that moment?
I don't know. I was thinking about something else. What was I thinking about? I was thinking about going for like 150 today, for real. I was on the way. I was like, man, I'm finna go crazy today, man. You feel me? Then all that happened, and I'm like, hold on, is this happening? So it happened. It happened so fast that it caught me off guard. You feel me? Because I'm like, dang, they really doing this.
Why did they even pull you over, Tyreek?
They said I was speeding, but I don't. They said I was speeding, reckless driving, whatever. So
How much planning went into
Did the
that?
officer know who you were? And
I
what
have
he
no
did?
idea. No idea.
So were you able to say that I'm about to play a game?
I wasn't raised like that. The name drop or flash. You feel me? Like if you say I did something, write me a ticket because I'm a normal person too. If you say I did something, write me a ticket. Do whatever you got to do. You feel me? But I'm just saying, like, don't be disrespectful. You feel me? Because I don't know.
How much planning went into that touchdown celebration?
Oh, that was hey. I knew immediately, man. Like J-Dub was like, hey, Rick, you get in that end zone today, show your tail, and I'll do the rest. You feel me? So it was a planned celebration. Obviously we had something else. Then all this happened this morning. So hey, like they say, man, free my dog Reek.
How does it feel, you and Waddle just combining for the domination that you had today, just after the slow start?
It felt good, man. Like you said, we had a very slow start, man. You know, first quarter, second quarter was, not running good routes, not doing what we normally do. And, just to see Waddle ball, make plays for us and get us going in that second half, that really got me going right there. You feel me? Because we know that the offense, we need big plays. We're a big play offense, man. So it was good to see. It was good to see Waddle do his thing. And yeah, it was great for us to come back and win the game in the second half.
Building off this, I know you guys got a short week, but how quick do you turn the dial to the Bills?
You forget quick. We enjoy with our family tonight, enjoy with the teammates tonight, and move on to the Bills tomorrow. It's just that fast. That's how this business work, man.
Tyreek, what did you think of Tua's performance today? Over 300 yards, great performance, and get the win at the end.
Oh, Tua, he stepped up in the second half. He did his thing. Second half, he played lights out, man. Like I said, first half, offense, like we all was like kind of timid a little bit, shaking all the dust off our knees and stuff like that. We was getting out the huddle kind of slow. But the thing that really motivated me the most was when we came in during halftime, and it's the first time I heard Tua's like Hawaiian accent. Like it's crazy. Like he was like turned up and animated in the locker room. I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. Like he was like going, and I'm like, yeah, let's go, man. Like he called me out, J-Dub. I'm like, yo, I'm loving this, bro. And like me, I love accountability at its finest. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I grew up on. I grew up on my dad telling me, hey, Reek, I need you to be better. You feel me? Not patting me on my back, not doing this. And for my quarterback to call me out in front of the whole offense like that, I had to step up. I had to do my thing. You feel me? So I like that in a leader.
You and Achane tied for leader in receptions today. What's your reaction to that?
He's moving to receiver, bro. Achane is a dog, man. He's one of those guys that can do it all, man. You feel me? Play running back, come out the backfield, catch passes like a wide out. So he's very special. He's a very special talent, man, and he's going to continue to get better and help this offense. You feel me? Because you never can have too much speed on the field at once. And having him and his availability is going to be special for this offense.
Tyreek, I remember in that frozen Chiefs locker room after the playoff game, you said something like, "We got to learn to stop being front runners." Something like that. Did you learn today? I mean,
yeah. Hey, you guys got to come up with a new narrative, I guess. You guys got to talk about something else. Y'all can't say that we front runners now. So it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see like our team, not feel sorry for ourselves early on in the game, and our defense had our back the whole entire game, and we just came together as an offense, man. We decided like, hey, we gotta first of all we gotta call the plays, we gotta get out the huddle fast, and we gotta do what we normally do, baby. We fast. You feel me? People don't like to run fast with us in Miami, dog. It's too hot. So we did that in the second half. We ran fast. Ran some deep routes, and we executed, man.
I know it's one game, but just starting a season understanding where your goals are, what does a comeback win like this do versus being on the other side?
It's great. It's great for the confidence. Like, it's great for the confidence in the locker room for all the guys to see that, hey, we're not going to be easy to beat, whether it's home, whether it's on the road. And moving forward late in the season, we like not every game is going to be perfect. We know that. So we're going to have games like this. Granted, we don't want to put ourselves behind the 8 ball, but if we got to, we still got to be mindful that we can come back at any moment because we got the team to do it, man. We got some dogs on this team. We got some alphas on this team. And, so, hey, I'm just blessed to be a part of this team, man. Blessed to be here with you guys today.
Tyreek, was there added emotion for you playing this game today after what you experienced this morning?
Oh, for sure. Like I said, man, I was in my hubby phase, like driving to work, feeling good. Then, like, when all this happened, bro, I got turned up. I was pissed off, bro. Like, on the sideline, I was fucking teed up, bro. Like, today is like the first day I really blocked somebody. Like, I pancaked somebody today. Number 91, 6'8", pancaked him. I did that today, man. So I was fired up today, man. Like, and I needed that. Like, I needed that, man. Like, because sometimes I can get lazy. I can get this and that and get boring because I'm like, oh, I'm fast. I can run by you. And I need that. You feel me? So it is what it is.
Oh, man. After hearing that, I like Tyreek Hill even more. It sounded like he really dealt with this very, very serious situation like an adult, and he seemed very calm. He seemed as though he was not bitter or angry. He seemed as though he was taking it in stride. He was honest in admitting, yeah, it got me excited. It made me emotional. He said he pancaked someone. It was a penalty. He didn't mention that, but, we're just keeping the facts straight. So I really like the way he handled that. Of course, more details will come out. The police officer has been placed on administrative leave. Tyreek Hill has maintained his innocence in the situation, saying he didn't name drop. I like that too, saying, look, I wasn't raised that way to cuss, to name drop. If I get a ticket, I get a ticket. I'll pay it. It's no problem. But I did not say anything. I was not disrespectful. I didn't name drop. I was going to take my ticket, and the situation may have escalated from there. I like what he said. I also like the story about Tua Tagovailoa at halftime, letting his Hawaiian accent out, calling everybody out. Tyreek Hill telling him he needs to step it up. Tua's been a lot more vocal now that he's got that money. He has that confidence. He has that swagger. We've noticed he ain't afraid no more. And then another narrative, Tyreek says you can't call us front runners anymore. We've got your calls. Text 305-567-0560. 561 text in. Technically, the Dolphins held the lead for 0.00 seconds in the game. That is true. They got the lead the last second of the game with the last second field goal. Tyreek Hill says, we're not front runners anymore. I might have told you that last time you basically saw me at the end of the Kansas City game. We got to stop being front runners. He says, we can't be front runners anymore. We don't want to be behind all the time, but we can't be front runners anymore. And we are not. Big comeback win, finding a way to win. People before and maybe even during, we'd have to ask Vlad, after the game, in and out of the stadium, chanting, free Tyreek, free Tyreek, free Tyreek. Vladimir Luiso, my cousin, was there. He said the crowd was going wild for Tyreek Hill every time he touched the ball. They were in great support of him. Tyreek Hill in an unfortunate situation, but he said he's making a positive out of it for both he and the police, meaning that they can work together to build a bridge between all people. Of course, we're going to keep you up to date on everything with that situation and the Dolphins, but you got to feel good. 20-17 win, finding a way to win week 1 against the Jaguars team that 2 years ago made the playoffs. Last year fell apart at the end of the season, but we were in the playoff hunt. Don't know exactly how good they're going to be this year, but it just feels good to win. Up next, going to wrap it up and give you another scoreboard right here on Game Day Uncensored 560 WQAM.
WQAM your favorite station? Do it. Listen to us live or on demand and use the rewind feature to go back and listen to any part of any shows you might have missed.
Time for more Game Day Uncensored, post-game edition on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Just feels good to get a win. 20-17, the Dolphins defeat the Jaguars in the season opener. More and more, week one is looking more and more like game 4 of the preseason. All the players admitting there was some rust, there was some dust. Both teams looked like there was some rust, there was some dust, but you play the game ahead of you and you got the win, 20-17. Last second field goal by Jason Sanders, and you move on. Short week, Thursday night at home, you will host the Buffalo Bills, who also had a pretty good game today, had to expend a lot of energy, did score a lot of points though, 34 points in defeating the Arizona Cardinals, 34-28, the final score there. That game, I didn't watch it because I was tuned into the Dolphins game, but it seemed like Cardinals were kind of being the better team. Then Josh Allen said, all right, I got to do this again. And
it was actually an entertaining game. I had 2 screens going.
He became Josh Allen. He started running the ball, taking over the game. And I'll tell you this, you might not love Josh Allen, but he is a very, very good quarterback and a very, very good football player. And I can't tell you what the Bills are going to be this season. Can't tell you what anybody's going to be this season because it's only week 1, but it should be an entertaining one this coming Thursday, 8:15, Hard Rock Stadium. We'll have Game Day Uncensored for you Thursday, basically all day long. So come on by and hang out with us. Tua, big numbers today, over 300 yards and a touchdown, 180-yard bomb to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, a big day, 130 yards. He said before he got detained by the police, on his mind, he was thinking about going for 150. He almost did it. And considering the circumstances, pretty good. The rest of that situation, it'll iron itself out. We'll have all the details as more details become available. Tyreek Hill says no cussing, no name dropping, didn't do any of that. He wanted him. They said he was speeding / reckless driving. He said, I wanted them to just write the ticket. I just shut up. I listened. I kept my hands on the wheel. And it just escalated from there. Okay. You know what? I'll let the situation play itself out. Tyreek Hill, though, still had a pretty big day. I thought Jaylen Waddle, my MVPs for the day, and I have a couple of them. My heart wants Jaylen Phillips because Jaylen Phillips coming back from that Achilles injury, really defying science. Thought he would not be back this early. And I really thought maybe we did rush him back in the first half because he looked very ineffective. I was wrong. In the second half, he balled out. He had a sack. He had a ton of tackles. He was in on every single play. It seemed like maybe he was just trying to test out his Achilles. Maybe the confidence wasn't there yet. And when he got the confidence, he played great. If he plays like that all season long, he is going to be a first-team all-defense in the NFL because he was that good. Another guy in their contract year that was one of my MVPs, Javon Holland. Woo! What a play that changed the game, really. They could have gone down 24-7, but he punches the ball out for Travis Etienne. Ball goes in the end zone. We recover. Touchback. Next play, Tua to Tyreek, 80 yards, a 14-point swing towards the back end of the third quarter. That was with 2:20 left in the third quarter. And the rest is kind of history. Jason Sanders, you can kind of say he was an MVP of today. He did make the winning field goal, although he did shank another one. Nonetheless, Devon Achane was the workhorse. Those are some of the guys that really, really stood out to me. What stood out also around the league? Well, we'll give you a quick scoreboard before we get out of here and let you know what stood out to us the most. First game of the year, one of the best games of the year. Chiefs defeat the Ravens. Lamar Jackson did a whole lot of running. Did some good passing, though, but unfortunately, Isaiah Likely just a little too far on the back end zone line, out of bounds line. Chiefs win that 27-24. Trevor,
heck of a game, I'll say.
It was unbelievable. It had everything in there, man. It had Taylor Swift even there. So, if Taylor Swift shows up, everyone's going to ball out. Trevor got to be very happy. His Eagles go into Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Worst field ever since the Dolphins-Giants London game.
Eagles, though, they do defeat the Packers 34-29. Jordan Love hurt. Got a little MCL issue, but he'll be out 3 to 6 weeks. So if you're a Packers fan, you paid him. Hold your breath. can kind of exhale now. Expect him back at some point.
3 touchdowns for Saquon Barkley in a debut since Terrell Owens in 2004.
Speaking of Saquon Barkley, you got to be happy if you're a Giants fan. He's gone. He's balling out, Saquon. But you still got Daniel Jones, right?
Nope.
Right? Vikings put it on the New York Giants. Daniel Jones, 22 for 42, 186 yards, and he threw it to the wrong team twice.
Andrew Van Ginkel had one. Dolphins legend. So
Yes.
be
And
happy with that.
Still don't want Saquon Barkley. Still want Daniel Jones. Sam Darnold looked like the all-pro there.
He
for the
looked like
Vikings.
the USC quarterback everybody wanted.
He
in
was
the draft.
10 for 10 for a while. Finished 19 for 24, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Like I said, the Vikings, they roll the Giants. Sorry, Giants fans. 28-6. Looks like it's going to be a long season for you
Another
guys.
decade of loss of football in New York City.
Probably going to be another long season for the Panthers, but hopefully Saints got something cooking. 47-10. The Saints put it on the Panthers. It was so bad. Derek Carr looked like a world beater today. He only threw for 200 yards, but they had to call off the dogs eventually.
So we can put the Spencer Rattler QB controversy to rest.
I don't think there was a controversy ever. Bryce Young, there's some controversy around that. CJ Stroud, the second pick, remember, balling out. Bryce Young today, 13 for 30 with 161 yards. And oh, yeah, guess how many times he threw it to the other team?
4?
No, twice.
Oh.
It's the number. You got to stick with the numbers. It's
Oh.
either 0 or 2. So
I was going for 4.
I'm proud of my Saints right there. You got to win that game. You should win that game. You do win that game. Bengals, everyone said, lock it in if you're in a suicide pool. Joe Burrow healthy again. Jamar Chase, he's in a contract year. They're playing the Patriots. How's Jake Driscoll going to get you? Well,
Jacoby
Brissett definitely got you.
Christian Gonzalez had a quote as I'm not letting Jamar Chase get me a new contract on me.
Jacoby Brissett got you. They didn't even need Drake May. 16-10. The Bengals were just very sleepy, but we know that they have a history of starting very slow, and that is a slow start against a Patriots team that is expected to be in the cellar of all of the NFL. Falcons, I have expected them to be in the cellar since I saw them week 1 of the preseason, and they looked the part against the Steelers. They lose 18-10. Steelers do defeat the Falcons 18-10. Quarterback controversy swirling in that game because Justin Fields got the start. Russell Wilson injured. Justin Fields gets the win. Kirk Cousins, big acquisition in the offseason, got paid a whole lot of money. 16 for 26, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. Oh, yeah, he threw it to the team 2 times, the other team 2 times. And at the end of the game, when he had a chance to maybe try to tie it, not even a whimper, it seemed like. So Michael Penix Jr., I'm sure a lot of Atlanta fans are saying his name this evening.
Absolutely.
We're talking about old Bryce Young. I'm sorry, man. CJ Stroud, 29-27. The Texans do defeat the Indianapolis Colts. Mr. Stroud had 24 for 32, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. He doesn't throw it to the other team ever. Anthony Richardson had some amazing plays. He threw 1 pass, almost like 75 yards in the air for a touchdown. He was only 9 for 19, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. More scores. We talked about the Bills. They beat the Cardinals 34-28. Josh Allen, those guys coming to town on Thursday. The Bears get a big win. Welcome.
Caleb Williams, how you doing?
Welcome to the league, Caleb Williams. Also, Jonathan Owens. You're saying, what's the big deal about Jonathan Owens? Well, he blocked a punt and returned it for 21 yards for a touchdown. If you're saying, okay, still, I don't get the point. What is the big deal about Jonathan Owens blocking and returning a punt? He is married to one Simone Biles.
Good for him.
Will Levis. I'd like to eat with the guy because I love Minez myself just like him. He's not that great of a quarterback, though, although he looked good against the Dolphins last year, and he's coming to town on a Monday night soon. He only had 127 yards passing, and he threw it to the other team twice. Broncos and Seahawks going to war right now. The Seahawks look like the better team, and they are up 26-13.
You missed some hooking in the Raider-Charger game between Raiders and Chargers players, by the way.
Raiders and Chargers, it was 22-10. The Chargers are leading the Raiders right now. A little rivalry game to start off the season. I'm seeing that Jaden Daniels scored his first touchdown. It was a rushing touchdown for the Commanders. They are getting beat by the Bucs, though, 30-14 with
Baker
1 quarter left.
Slinging it right now in that Washington defense.
Baker Mayfield, he's been much maligned, and I think sometimes wrongly much maligned. I think it's his cockiness and, just
He's
kind
like
of.
Jay Cutler.
I think he's a little better than Jay Cutler.
No, like if you compare the imaging of Jay Cutler criticism of Jay Cutler and Baker Mayfield. You have your new Jay Cutler. It's Baker Mayfield.
Speaking of criticism, Deshaun Watson for the Browns. Now, Dak Prescott got paid today. He's the biggest, most highest paid player in NFL history for now. He's having an okay day. 15 for 25, 158 yards, 1 touchdown. They are still in the third quarter, though. Deshaun Watson, 14 for 28, 111 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Like I said, the Cowboys kind of putting it on him a little bit, 27-10. That's pretty much your scoreboard right there. Tonight, 8:20, you get the Rams and the Lions. It's a good one right there.
That's entertaining.
A little, little couple of storylines in there. A team that almost made the Super Bowl last year. Their coach, you got a team that won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. And by the way, those two teams flopped quarterbacks a couple of years back too. Very, very interesting. That's a little nightcap for you. And then tomorrow night, Jets fans, hold your breath, at least for 4 or 5 plays. They're going to be facing the 49ers.
Aaron Rodgers has a great record against the 49ers in the regular season.
In the regular season?
Yeah.
Get
ready.
You know how many Super Bowls you win in the regular season?
Let me guess. Is that 0 just like the San Diego Chargers?
That is 0. The Jets, 49ers tomorrow night. If the Jets lose, they start the season in the cellar of the AFC East because all AFC East teams won today that weren't the Jets. So, no added pressure to those guys. Tyreek Hill's dealing with this situation. He said he was so happy because his teammates are like his family. He has a good support system around him. It seemed like 70,000 people were in the stands supporting him today. We heard that they got really loud every time Tyreek touched the ball. Free Tyreek chants in and out and all around the stadium. The situation is going to be fun. It was a fun game today. Maybe not the most classy, smooth game that we expected, but it was a win nonetheless, and that's all that really matters. 20-17, onward and upward for our Miami Dolphins as they will face the Bills Thursday night in a prime time, and we'll be here with you. For Trevor Harris, I am Dan Day. This has been Game Day Uncensored on 560 WQAM. Later, slugs.
Football coverage on 560 WQAM is presented